Put all those scratches on your arm. You want to see the
scratches?
I got scratches. I can show you the pictures right now.
No, I want you to leave my family fucking alone.
Keep hanging outside of there.
Hit the road. Dude, I promise you, you're gonna get yours and you're
I
gonna
don't
get
give a fuck. You can bring whoever the fuck you want.
That's okay. You're gonna
Is
that a threat?
fucking army. I don't give a fuck.
How does this make you feel? You're filming my father and my fucking sister. How does this make you
Is that
feel?
the one that put all those scratches on your arm? You want to see the
scratches?
I got scratches. I can show you the pictures right now.
No, I want you to leave my family fucking alone.
Keep hanging outside of there.
Hit the road. Dude, I promise you, you're gonna get yours and you're
I
gonna
don't
get
give a fuck.
I got pictures of you. I'm not a stalker, but I have pictures of you everywhere you go. And I'm gonna get you. I hear it every fucking day. I'm gonna get you. Mr. Perry, I don't have anything in common with somebody who likes to starve women and children and subjugate and peep all day. It's funny that you have my ex-husband accuse me of being lazy. When I'm doing this, you're a job. I did make that clear, right? I can't be paid as long as you're up in my bank account because it's a need to know, right? No one's got this much evidence against you, and I'm sure everybody's kind of shocked that I put my ex-husband out there like this. Listen, I'm gonna build my case, sir. You're a job. I'm building a criminal case against you. No one has gotten as much as we have, right, Muffin Man? Right, Rumpelstiltskin? Your little daycare code word y'all use. Pin the tail on the donkey. Follow the yellow brick road. We're enticing her with the carrot and the stick. Listen, I want no contact with you. I have nothing in common with you. You guys are in trouble for sexual exploitation. That's why I was brought into this. Mr. Perry, you were elected because we wanted you elected. Because your life in private is subject to public scrutiny. You're asking people to hire you and pay you with tax dollars to do a job. So the public is entitled and has the right to know how you live your private life. You're no different than Bill Clinton. At least, though, Bill Clinton got real sex out of his thing. And so did John Ensign. And so did Al Franken. And so did Anthony Weiner. And all those guys who did stop something, the public wasn't comfortable with. And you're by far worse than all of that put together. I have nothing in common with somebody that does peeping. That's a crime, not a date. And hacking. That's a crime, not a date. Stalking. Here's the thing. We all get rejected. We all move on. You failed. You're not a dignitary if you can't just keep up with normal people. You failed. We all get rejected. We all move on. It's not a crime to reject somebody. I don't like you. I don't like anything about you. I think that you are the most cruel, sick, twisted son of a bitch I've ever met in my life. By far. So you've claimed that you were abused as a child and that turned you weirdo. I don't believe you. I think you're full of shit. I think that you were born mean and you're used to, your mom let you, did something you didn't like, didn't breastfeed you or whatever, and you find excuses to fail because success is in compliance with the law and making money legit. Not ill-gotten gains, not cheating, not stealing, not doing things that are illegal. Because we can all comply with the law. Only 0.1% of the population acts like you. Violent offender. I was abused. I was brutalized. I'm in criminal justice school. This is what we study. Criminology. Why in the fuck would someone do that to another person? That's what that is. It's studying. Why would people do what you do? We all get rejected. We all move on. And you fail every fucking day. We have nothing in common, sir. You're a job. You have made up a bullshit story in your head that isn't real to me at all. You're a job. I'm working and you watch. You're sitting on your fat, lazy ass watching me work. And then you have the nerve to contact my ex-husband or my family and berate me like that. You choose this. You don't know the half of it. The thing is I don't talk about this much with anybody. No one. If I have to explain something, then it comes up. Otherwise, why don't you just move back to Texas with me? First of all, and by the way, my ex-husband and I are just friends. He has a 2-bedroom apartment. He has said, you can live in the other bedroom, but I can't go to Texas. I'll end up dead in a week. There's been enticements offered. We'll get you a house. What, a house with beveled glass where I'm locked in the basement? We'll give you whatever you want if you lie. Nope, you'll give me what I want. What you want, not what I want. Because what I want is my friends and family to be left alone. My privacy. The money you have taken from me, I want that back. Fabian, Tristan, Dennis up here. So we can talk and you're not butting in. We just talk. Mike Neely home with his family. Because you can't beat somebody to death and not have a mark on you while you're drugged and unconscious. You act like you think that I got alien dust from Roswell and I sprinkled some of it on him. And so we have magic powers, superpowers, and we can do the impossible. You make all these bullshit stories up that are not even possible, much less plausible. And you actually think people believe you. And I'm telling you, if I can quote you, we got our ear to the ground in a lot of places. No one believes you. People are sick and tired of this. You have dragged this on and on and on and on. I can make money, and everyone knows that. My guys have seen me do it all my life. I already went over this thing when I worked for my aunt. Then I started my own business. Saeed helped me. That's the kind of guys I'm attracted to, men that do that. Not men that starve women, torture women, torment women. Saeed didn't peep. Mike's husband doesn't peep. Fabian doesn't peep. Anybody I've dated, they don't peep. And you do. It's illegal for a reason. Most guys don't do it for a reason. It's very offensive. It's nasty. You're gross. Because you do that. And not only that, you sell watch time and you starve your victims to death while you rake it in. And you get some sort of sexual gratification acting like that. 99.9% of the population can behave and conduct themselves with dignity. And you can't. You failed. You fail every day. You're not even keeping up with normal. You're not even keeping up with just average. You're well below that. Way below that. We can all comply with the law and you're not able to. You need to lie. You need to cover up. You've made that very clear. And I'm not going to give you that. I'm not going to give it to you. What I've asked you to do is give back what you took from me and get the fuck out of my life. Get Sensations full of customers that you ran off. You took their money, pay it back. That's what I want. And you won't give me what I want. You're going to give me what you want. Go back to Texas where we can really fuck you up. We've heard the conversations over and you're recorded over and over and over and over. 40,000 plus emails representing 40,000 plus recordings, and that's just what you know about. That's just, I'm only told what pertains to me. And I guess Mr. Powell last night called up here and was complaining. Now she says that she didn't name anybody on the police report. No, sir, you're wrong. You're absolutely wrong. In Manford, I said very plainly and very clearly, both on my written statement and to the two officers who showed up. Officer Neely, Michael Neely of Manford Police, and Brett Gibson of Manford Police, and about 40 people looky-loos in the parking lot, and Laura Collins, the maid, who came to tell Mr. Gibson that room was full of powder that's in her trunk. Same shit. David Robertson's people, his employees, were staying right next to me. I said, no one saw this, who did this. No one saw it. It's not possible for me to say who did it. It's likely due to a stalker problem that I have. We're in a lawsuit right now. They already knew that. You act like you think they didn't know. They knew. Lucky told me they knew. Lucky came to my strip club to talk to me, him and Mike. I didn't talk to Mike for very long. Mike went up and went to the bathroom. I talked to Chief Miller, who asked me, did you sign a marriage license? Fuck no, Chief Miller. Why the hell would I do that? I know that they're taking your money. We told them that if you were being mugged, 5 guys would jump on them and get your purse back. So what's the difference? Get your hand out of her wallet. That phrase was coined by Chief Miller. Get your hands out of her wallet. What happens is you're inconveniencing people in my town when she can't pay her bills. You're interfering with contracts and commerce. You're trying to coerce. That is a crime. Get your hands out of her wallet. He said he told you that. I know he told you that. I've said it repeatedly over and over and over. In my police report, Mr. Powell, I made it very clear. We don't know who did this. Likely it's a stalker. You don't know what David and Charles do you? Are you sitting on top of them 24/7? You don't know what the hell they're doing, Mr. Powell. Do you? Don't act like you do. You don't. You have no fucking idea. I know a lot more about what those two do than you do. Because I have guys helping me who are doing the work you should have done, and you failed. You failed. You are not protecting women and children. You're not doing it, sir. You are the prosecutor. I don't know if you are now. Here's how I'm wondering about that. I don't Google y'all. I don't give a fuck about you. But for what you're doing to me in Oklahoma, I don't pay any attention to you at all. You don't matter. But here's the thing. Since you did, now you're a job. Now you're just a fucking job. All 5 of you. I don't have anything in common with the Peeping Tom who makes trouble and causes loss and kills the cops. There's nothing in common with you at all. I have made every effort to stop what you're doing because you're causing pain and mad and sadness and suffering and fear, and you're threatening and threatening and threatening and threatening, and everybody wants that gone. So we have a very easy time, Mr. Perry, getting information before you do it. You're not getting information, we are, because everybody likes what we're doing and they don't like what you're doing, and you can't seem to get that. It's like you don't understand what people say to you. Do you have Huntington's disease? Huntington's disease causes paranoia and delusion. You're living in a pretend world, sitting on your ass. You're being lazy. You're not working. You're causing one problem after another. The thing is, when you're gone, all that goes with you. So we don't have a hard time getting information. You do. People like what we're doing. They're putting a stop to the horror and terrorization that you're doing. You can't get information, can you? No one likes the mean guy. No one likes a bully. A man's kindness brings blessings. His cruelty will be his downfall. It's in Proverbs. In other words, you get peace with honey. And you're all about the vinegar. You're a sex sadist, the guy tells us. You're kind of, people say what they say. It's got to be substantiated somehow. Or it's just, not a credible witness. You're making the guy more credible by the minute. He's very credible. He said you wanted money. You were looking for a handout. Those were his words. He came to me looking for a handout. He wanted me to invest in this online peep show thing he's got. And I wish I could unhear what I heard. It was extremely disturbing. He's a sexual sadist. He likes to hurt people, and then he'll go rub one out. He feels some kind of weird thrill out of that. Something I don't understand. No normal person would be able to understand that if they tried. You're not going to get a date with me. You're a job. I have nothing in common with you. Nothing at all. I don't peep. I don't hack. I don't cause people problems. I don't cause people loss. You do that. That's your thing. And that's all you do all day. And you can't be pathetic and a dignitary at the same time. You're either pathetic or you're a dignitary. We all get rejected. We all move on. You're not keeping up with even average. You're not even keeping up with that. As long as I've known him, he trolls women. He's traveling. No one knows really what he's doing, Mr. Powell. And he'll put hidden cameras in their house. He buys the landlord, the maintenance guy, or locksmith and gets in when these women are at work and kids are at school. And he'll have hidden cameras installed in their home. They don't know it's there. And then he broadcasts them all over the world, all over the dark web. Josh Schulte was in trouble for having a child porn on his computer. And he said, I'm hosting websites for other people. Was that one of yours? He's from Lubbock. Was he your guy? I don't know. Anyways, I know. I'm not going to say. Anyways, then he'll sell watch time. And then he'll get these women fired. And then they're trying to find another job. He'll make sure they can't find work. Then they cause strain in the family because they're calling family asking for help. And they're trying to take care of kids. Then they lose their house. Then he has the ex take the kids away. Twice I've been kicked out of where I was living, and payment is refused. And I didn't do a fucking thing wrong. Nothing. There's no wild parties. There's no properties not being torn up. I mind my own business. I do my own thing. I'm a single mom raising a kid. Twice. Here's your income, rent. Oh, I don't want it. Just get out. Wow. Okay, that ain't normal. You're refusing the income that you have the fucking rental house or property to begin with. You're refusing it. Yeah, just get out. Because Perry paid you more to kick me out. Because that's never happened to me before. If there's a kick out, there's a reason for it. So what is your problem? This is what you do, he said. It's what you do. And to have the families berate him, acted like it's their fault. But we all know it's not. We all know these women are being abused by you. Economic abuse, sir, is part of domestic violence. You're a domestic violence offender. You're a sex offender. You just haven't been convicted yet. So we'll do the disclaimer now. Use allegedly. Apply the but-for standard. If Mr. Perry weren't stalking me and I didn't need to document it, we wouldn't do these podcasts. I have other things to do. I actually do work while you sit on your fat, lazy-ass perverting around. Watching me work. So fuck you for that. Don't ever call my husband again. My ex-husband. My ex-husband and I are just friends. I really got to clarify that. So when he comes to visit me, there's no sex. There's nothing like that. My heart is somewhere else, and everybody knows that. So, and I'm not lesbian, Mr. Perry. I don't like girly men. I have trans friends. They're trans friends. We have a great time talking about makeup. I'll tell you that. But if you're a girly man, trying to act all tough guy, but you beat down women and children so you feel tough and you're too weak to pick on men, if you're going to pick on people. My guys don't pick on people. They can get a date, Mr. Perry, and you can't. But if they pick on somebody, it's a dude, and it's a dude hurting women and kids, like you. You have it coming. They're cops. That's what they do. They put guys like you behind bars so you can't hurt people anymore. I know you buy cops, and this you're not sure what to do here because my guys won't take your money, will they? They won't even tell you who they are. You've talked to them face to face. All of you have. All 5 of you have talked to them face to face. So have you, Calvin. And you just didn't know that's who you were talking to. They're very good at what they do. Everybody's commented on my ability to sting up. I can sting up the fuck out of anybody. Make one little slip up, she'll know. Did you slip up? I told you to use the poker face. I've heard that. Everybody's sick of this, sir. If we know what you said, we have our ear to the ground in a whole lot of places. You thought you were going to starve me into going back to Texas so you could really hurt me there bad? Yeah, and he just did what you told him to. That's not my ex-husband's normal, really. It's your normal. You sitting on your fat, lazy ass. So he says, and he makes it where they can't find a job. Then they lose the house, and then he has the ex take the kids away. Blows up these little kids' lives. They're sitting watching through all this happen. You don't think it traumatizes them? I've said it over and over. If you do this to the least of these, you've done it unto me. Depart from me. I don't know you. You're supposed to be Christians. You say you're a Christian, and you're not. You're not even close. You're not even fucking close. You're just a fraud. Right? You're all about fraud. Well, you just like lying, and you think people actually believe you, and we're like, wow, he thinks people believe him. On what planet is it that they believe you, sir? I mean, you have to be really dumb as a rock to believe Mr. Perry at this point. We've got so much out there, 40,000 emails. And the thing is about these guys is they'll get caught planning it, and they'll do it anyway. And then I'm like, well, I told you. Like the McNamara email, right? Michael shrugged. You can't beat somebody to death while you're unconscious, in respiratory distress, dying. Beat somebody back and forth, hit his head so hard that his head came off his body, and have not one injury on your hands. His hands would look like Chief Miller's face. They were going to get your ass, weren't they? My report said it might be stalking related, but I'm not sure. No one saw it. I can't possibly know. There's an off chance it's a random dude, but that doesn't mean it is a random dude. It's more likely, when you come from police, Mr. Perry, you're smart. I've been out thinking you for a decade. The thing is it's more likely you. Because I don't know anyone this weird. I don't know anybody else who would do something weird like this, and they've been threatening my car. I just had a brick thrown at me on the highway. I just had my car totaled. They get a key to every car I have from the dealer. Pay them a little something, something. And so that's why there's no forced entry here in my car. And so then at that point, it's the job of police to take in all the information, consider all all the information. They already knew what you were doing. Chief Miller asked me about a marriage license that I did not sign and still to this day have not even seen. And if people think I signed it, if he's lying, you give me your copy and watch Mr. Perry shit himself. I've not seen it. And anybody that would go around and make up bullshit and tell everyone some crap story and then say, but don't talk to her about it. The reason they don't want you to talk to me about it is because it's a crap story. Otherwise, they wouldn't care. When I got married to my ex-husband, we told everybody, both of us. We didn't go around saying don't tell anybody. That would be weird. We told everybody we got married. So, you're going around telling people, 1 minute, I'm a threat to you. And somebody questioned your sanity. He says she's a threat 1 minute, then she's a concubine, whatever the fuck that is. Then she's a girlfriend, then she's a fiance, then she's a secret wife. I mean, this guy's told 6 different stories up in Oklahoma, where Matt's not and doesn't hear it. Or does he? Does he know you come up and tell people you live a pretend world in Oklahoma that has nothing to do with your real life in Lubbock? Does he know that? Does he know your whack job? The thing is you can be in front of somebody at church every Sunday and shake hands with them and they seem like a good guy. And hey, after church, let's all go out to dinner. And then you go to dinner and he sounds like a good guy. And then he goes home and watches child porn. Or takes a road trip and does murder, serial killing. You don't know people, really. BTK, how long was he on? Gosh, he tricked cops. Mr. Perry, he was out thinking the cops. You can't even do that. You got to buy cops. You got to pay them. You can't even outsmart cops. You can't even keep up with your peers. Ted Bundy, John Wayne Gacy. John Wayne Gacy was very politically active. So was Ted Bundy. Ted Bundy worked in I can't even remember what side he was on. Either the Democrat or Republican headquarters. He worked as in politics. He was going to law school. He was a very smart man, very charming, and a serial killer, very dangerous. And he outsmarted cops for a long time. So did John Wayne Gacy. He had a bunch of boys buried under his fucking house. And they were just working. Oh, I'm giving these guys a job. I'm kind of like you. I'm helping 10 to 15 divorcees. You're helping? Is that what you call that? I'll starve them. And then they'll call me all distraught and worried. I can't pay my bills. Can you help me? And then I'll throw them a little peanut. Here's a little canned food. Right? Is that what you do? And then you feel power in that somehow? So I'm going to prove my case. Here's the thing. I'm proving my case. I am. Me. You act like you don't know who you're talking to when you start threatening me and you start getting my family to do exactly what I said. Exactly what the witness says. He just did it. I couldn't believe it. I was shocked. Because as much as we've said it, I thought, well, surely they're smart enough not to have him do that to me again. We've said it over and over and over. Surely they're smart enough not to give me another I told you so. Sure shit, he did it again. That's not the first time he's put me through that. And the bad thing is, he used to do it in front of our child. And that traumatized my child, to have to watch that. To have to watch his dad speak to me that way. And it used to be actually worse. It used to be a lot worse. So, this is not my way of treating people, Mr. Perry, so we have nothing in common. Absolutely nothing. You're a job. I'm going to prove my case. It doesn't matter. I'm sorry I put my ex-husband out there. He's part of what you're doing. I'm going to prove my fucking case. Because once you're gone, we don't have to deal with that again. And my family can heal. And I can look at my ex-husband and go, I know that that's not your normal. That's their normal. I don't know what threat they made to you, but I'm sure there was something that's what they do. Threats and bribes. Here's money. If you can talk her into coming back to Texas, we'll pay you blah, blah, blah. How much did you promise him? How much did you promise my ex-husband if he can talk me into going back to Texas? Where's Fabian? I would just go visit Fabian. Right? And yet, he won't help you, will he? He's like, no, I'm not doing that, didn't he? Did you call him and ask him, and that's what he said? I heard that's what happened. That you told him, you'd asked him to do it, and he won't do it. He won't let me go to Texas, will he? Everybody that I worked with knew you guys went in there. It was not everybody. Well, everybody did know, but one girl told me. Those old men, I've never seen old farts who are wealthy shit themselves like those guys shit themselves when Fabian's name comes up. What in the hell happened in Dallas? That they're acting like that about Fabian. Right? What did? Charles, what'd you tell Fabian? I'm going to find a way to arrest her and she won't get out this time unless she's with me. You give up. Mr. Robertson says, those two fought over you. And I'm like, wow, but there's no fight there. I don't like Charles. Charles didn't have any chance with me at all. A relationship was when two people like each other and they both want to be in the relationship. And that's not the case with Perry. I don't like Perry. Perry's a job. I'm going to prove my fucking case. Because once you're gone, you're gone. And we won't have to deal with any problems anymore. We will. You take your problems to jail with you. Your troublemaking, your tragedy, your horror, your terrorization, all that goes to jail when you go to jail. So, at the end of the day, it's worth it. If I unfortunately have to record people that call me and say your words, not their words, your words, I'm going to record it and it's going to be used against you in a court of law. Whether you speak directly to me yourself or you use someone else. Just like I did Pinto. Just like I did Mr. Robertson in his text. Just like I did Mickey James in his text. It's going to be used against you to prove my case. I'm going to win. Do you understand me? We're not going to put up with this. No one should have to live like this. This is the United States of America. Life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. You heard of it? Constitution protects our right to the protections of the law. Violence Against Women Act. All anti-stalking laws. Anti-peeping laws, anti-hacking laws, anti-stealing my money laws, anti-coercion laws, anti-witness tampering law. It's Title 18, United States Code 1512, 1513. Read it or get a better attorney. Get a fucking attorney that knows how to explain the law. Yours clearly has no fucking idea. And that was said about the court too. We can't believe 5 attorneys couldn't handle one girl who's not been to law school. They wouldn't even let her into court to show evidence they say she doesn't have. 4 times. They kept her out. Did secret ex parte hearings. Got everything to... you can play Candyland against yourself, Mr. Perry. You're playing you. You're winning. Ooh, yeah, gold star for you. You don't have an opponent. You didn't win shit. I wasn't in the courtroom to show my evidence. There was no fair hearing or trial ever in all 3 lawsuits. By the way, a woman shouldn't have to sue to get a fucker to leave her alone. A fucktard like you. Pathetic. You're either pathetic or you're a dignitary, but you can't do both. You can't be both. Do you understand? That means you got to get off your ass and go work. And stop having my family berate me. I don't call my family and talk about this at all. There is a shit ton of stuff that unless they hear these, which I don't call them and tell them about them, you would be. Right? I told you to leave my family the fuck alone, just like she did. So I don't call my family and tell them, here's what's happening in the stalker case today. Here's what he's doing to me today. I'm whining and crying. Doesn't happen. Unless you told them to look at it, I don't know that they look at it. I don't make a phone call and whine and cry. I only call them if I have to, because you made a problem I need some help fixing. That's what families are for. And you had no right to interfere and impede, and you pissed us all off that you did. So, it's not hard to get information, and I'm going to make my case. I've done better than anybody you know. The goal is you're going to jail, and you can't cause problems anymore. You're not going to invade my privacy anymore. You're not going to cause me loss anymore. You're not going to attack me anymore. You're not going to berate me, but directly or indirectly. You're not going to fuck with me anymore. You're going to jail, and you won't hurt anybody ever again. Do you understand? When you're in jail, the problems that you cause are gone with you. We're free. We're not threatened. We're not in danger. We're not coerced. We're not, here's the threat or the bribe, carrot and the stick. I don't want you in my life. You're an intrusion. You're an invader, not an invited guest. I don't want you in my life. And you need to act like a fucking man and move on. Everybody gets rejected. Everybody else moves on. And you can't even keep up with normal. You fail. You're a failure. act like a dignitary or a failure, but you can't be both. I got rejected more than once. I just moved on. Next. There's plenty of fish in the sea. Next. So if you fail to just keep up with normal, you cannot be a dignitary. I don't want you in my life. I moved twice to get away from you. I sued you 3 times to sue you off me. I don't like you. I have nothing in common with you. Nothing. You're a monster. You're a job. I'm going to make my case. I've done more of that than anyone else you know, and you act like you have no fucking idea what I'm saying or who you're talking to. No one's done what I've done. No one has what we have. There is no other victim that has a Fabian puzzle. There is no other victim that has a McNamara email. There is no other victim that has a Michael drugged email. No one has that but me. And you act like you forget who you're talking to and who you're dealing with. I'm going to make my case. So when you do exactly what I keep saying you're doing, I'm going to use it to make my case, sir. And when you're in jail, your problems go with you, and we don't have to be forced to deal with it anymore. And that's the goal. And nobody you know has gotten closer to that goal than me, right? Everybody hates you. You've put everybody through hell. You cannot crap up somebody's life and think they're not going to hate you. That is not a reasonable expectation. You cannot crap up all over women's lives and think they're going to fall in love with you. That is not a reasonable expectation. That is some deep delusion. You got Huntington's disease or Alzheimer's or something. You can see it. You reek of it. You fucking reek of it. So you do the same thing to me he's doing to her. All stalking victims have the right to document the stalking. I know that you get all butthurt when people tell on you, but you asked for it. It's different when you do it to me, and you act like you don't know that. You got a new normal, and you have failed to adjust, which is fine by us. I'm going to make my case. I'm going to fucking make my case, sir.
You can bring whoever the fuck you want.
That's okay. You're gonna fight
Is that a
fucking
threat?
army. I don't give a fuck.
This make you feel? You're filming my father.
That's okay. I don't care.
Leave me alone.
You want.
I don't want proof of this. Please leave me alone.
Hey men, leave women the fuck alone. When they're in public, when they're doing anything, you don't have the right to their attention. You don't have the right to step into their personal space. You don't have the right to them. Especially if they're making it very clear they don't want to be talked to, but even when they're not. Unless a woman is giving you enthusiastic and continuous body language and signs that she wants to talk to your ugly dumb ass, then leave her the fuck alone. Find a date a different way. Okay? It's not clever. It's not cool. It's not cute. It's garbage. It's absolute garbage behavior, and you're a garbage person if you do it. I don't care if it's in public, it doesn't fucking matter. You don't have the right to her, and you need to leave her alone. And this is Bacon.
That's okay. I don't care.
Leave me alone.
All you want.
I don't want proof of this. Please leave me alone.
Hey men, leave women the fuck alone. When they're in public, when they're doing anything, you don't have the right to their attention. You don't have the right to step into their personal space. You don't have the right to them. Especially if they're making it very clear they don't want to be talked to, but even when they're not. Unless a woman is giving you enthusiastic and continuous body language and signs that she wants to talk to your ugly dumb ass, then leave her the fuck alone. Find a date a different way. Okay? It's not clever. It's not cool. It's not cute. It's garbage. It's absolute garbage behavior, and you're a garbage person if you do it. I don't care if it's in public, it doesn't fucking matter. You don't have the right to her, and you need to leave her alone. And this is Bacon.
Yep, been raping you since
Leave
you were
me
12 years
alone.
old.
Please.
Just talk to me.
See, when somebody says, leave me alone, if I play these twice, will you finally sink in? Fucktard? Will you finally understand the words? Stalking is a crime. Hacking is a crime. Peeping is a crime. Witness tampering is a crime. Coercion is a crime. Grand larceny with intent to coerce. Interference with contracts and commerce is crime. Oh, back to real quick with what Lucky said to me, Chief Miller. I'm not going to have people in my town inconvenienced because these guys can't handle you in court. 5 attorneys, seasoned, not fresh out of law school. They went to law school, 4 years of college. They went to law school. They took the bar. Then they've been practicing law for a good long time. They're not newbies. Against one woman who didn't even finish college. At that point, I didn't even have my 4-year. I had 1 year of school. And right now I'm in my 3rd year of college. On the dean's list, in spite of all this shit you're doing to me, and it's not been easy. It's been pretty hard. So, what in the fuck kind of weak-ass pathetics can't face one woman in court, legit way, just the legit normal way proceedings are supposed to go? You know, how sad. Oh, sad. That is something, I don't even have words for that. That is some weak, pathetic nothings right there. Can't even face her in one normal without going to a backroom deal with a judge and doing something that doesn't even make sense. Even a layperson could see a lot of this doesn't make sense. Judge Cummings has not one reason for any denial he gave me ever, cited not one case, nothing. And everybody caught that. Do you know that? Do you know people talk behind your back and they didn't think that was cute? The things we hear the most. I can't believe they did that to her. First of all, it was bad enough that he put her in jail illegally, and we fully expected these guys to make that right with her, and they didn't. And not only that, they fucked her over in court. You need help, you got my help. They come to me with anything, it's going right to you. Please understand that's been said a lot. There was a full expectation that after you did the false arrest, that would be made right with me, and that would be the end of it. And when you failed, you got all kinds of leaks when that happened. You pissed everybody off. People don't like your cruelty. I don't know how many different ways I need to say that. You're a fucktard. I'm tired of repeating myself. You are a fucktard. You need to get somebody to help you understand what people say. So when you fucked me over in court, and there's nothing there, and I've not been in any hearings at all. No judge has fucking seen my evidence or heard my testimony. The one I was in, the first one, the judge denied your motion to dismiss. That said something. I haven't been in court since. And the one, Judge Morrissey, the default judgment, that wasn't legal either. And everybody knows it. You think everybody's stupid like you? You're off your nut. They're not, I assure you. You have leaks because they're not. The things we hear the most are, I can't believe they did that to her. And second of all, how did she know and how did she find out? The reason we know and the reason we found out is because there's too many people saying, I can't believe they did that to her. So Lucky said, it's inconveniencing not just her, but everybody she owes money to in my town. Now they can't pay their bills because they're not getting her money. How many contracts did you interfere with? I promise you're going to be charged for each and every one, not just mine. If there was some repercussions because you stole my money, sir, you stole it and you did it on purpose. You intended to coerce. You interfered with commerce. You interfered with contracts. You interfered with interstate commerce and you did it on purpose. You had a plan and it was nefarious and illegal and you did it anyway. And when you do it to me, everything changed and you act like you have no idea that you got a new normal and you fucking do. You're fucktard. All of you. If you weren't, reasonable, prudent individual would go, well, maybe I shouldn't steal money from a woman. Maybe when I'm getting told on, people don't like it when I do that. Maybe there's a reason everyone's not doing that. Maybe there's a reason it's illegal to do that. Everyone said in a society, we're going to be civilized and we're not going to act that way. So we're going to make it a crime. You do that, you go to jail. That's what we're doing, Charles. We're building a criminal case against you. I'm going to get you. You want to threaten me? I'm going to get you? I actually have a criminal case going, sir. I actually am building. You're giving me more evidence than we even fucking know what to do with, sir. It's not that I have to get you. All I have to do is sit here while you crap on me and put the crap in a bag for court. That's all I have to do. I'm not going where you are. You're coming where I am. I'm not a stalker. You are. That's what stalkers do. They go where you are. He's going where she is. So when I say I'm going to get you, it's a whole different thing when I say it. I'm not going to get you by doing something illegal. I'm going to get you by sitting here with my little bag while you shit in it, and then I'm going to take it to court. Do you understand? It's like you have no idea what I'm saying. It's a whole different kind of get. I'm going to get a bad guy. I'm going to make your suffering stop. Everybody's cooperating with us because that's what they want to. Normal people don't like suffering. They don't like it, fucktard. You need to act like you understand me. And you act like you have no idea what I'm saying. And I'm not a special ed teacher, and I'm not your lawyer, and I don't want to talk to you. What I'd like you to do is not mean I have to do a podcast to document your crime. And fuck off. Fuck the hell off. So, David, Charles, Matt, when you took my money, and then it caused me not to be able to pay Rinkish, and now he's not able to be able to, how many contracts did you interfere with right there? You're gonna get charged for each and every one. Every time you do it. Do you understand me? Write it down. I'm not gonna repeat it again. This is what normal people think of fuckers like you.
First, let me say that I'm happy that the lady in this video is okay. Second, let me break down what rape culture is. Rape culture is the fact that that man felt that he was entitled to some of this woman's time just because he said, let me talk to you for 2 minutes. Doesn't matter if it's 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 20 minutes. If she said no, no means no. Rape culture is the comments that she has on her video about how she should have just spoke to him or dressed differently. Rape culture is me taking the heat for calling out other men for their terrible behavior. Rape culture is trying to explain stuff as, oh, it's just locker room talk. No, it's not locker room talk. You should talk the same way wherever you are. We all know that rape is not about sex, it's about power. So for you to force yourself on somebody, even if you're just talking to them, is disgusting, dude.
Leave me alone.
It's disgusting. 2 men. This guy and Bacon guy. It's disgusting, your behavior. So, you can't be a dignitary and be disgusting and a rapist. Rinkish had fucking bed bugs like a motherfucker at that hotel. And I had sores all over me. And I begged him for months, please, kill the fucking bugs. Kill the damn bugs. Kill the fucking bugs. And at one point, he actually made me go buy the bug spray, which took care of it for like a week. And then they came right back. The guy was like, he's got to spray the whole place. He can't just spray your room. That'll get rid of them in your room for like a week, and then they're back again. And but the bed bugs is a separate thing, Mr. Perry. That doesn't absolve you from stealing my money and making it where I can't pay him, whether there's bed bugs or not. You interfered with a contract, and whatever contracts he's not able to pay because you made it where he can't pay, those two, you're going to get nailed with all of them. All of you, David, you too. And Mr. Powell may or may not have known that you were doing all that to me. Rent the club out, run off the paying customers. Let me tell you something. When I first started working back at Sensations, I worked there from, I think it was right after they opened. They opened in like February 2015, and I believe I started working there in April 2015, and I left in August right after those cops came and talked to me. It was like September, August. No, it was October. It was October. Those two cops came in there in August 2015 and said, he's just trying to find a way to arrest you, and we're not going to help him. He wanted us to help him. We're like, no, we're not doing that. That's not why we signed up to be cops. But that doesn't mean we're not going to, he won't find an asshole who will do it. So just watch yourself. I then wrote the letter to the U.S. Attorney. Everybody's seen it. He's trying to use law enforcement to help me. Lucky, I believe. I'm not told who's on the recordings. And oh, by the way, if the person that was getting grilled were you and Cynthia more than just friends, if that was Terry and not Bill from Broken Arrow, somebody told me it was Bill. That might have been misinformation. Terry and I were just friends too. Actually, Terry was a job. I've said that. The first night he comes in, and he says, and he came in after the complaints from Chief Miller about me not having money. And he came in, and all of a sudden he's buying a bunch of VIPs. So he said and then when I didn't do what you wanted, he all of a sudden, I can't come in, right? He comes in on the night his wife dies, and like a week before that when I needed money, I can't come in. I'm distraught about my wife dying, but he can. But on the night of her death, according to the obit, then he can come in. See, I mean, what you guys act like nobody. You forget who you're talking to or dealing with. It's different with me, isn't it? I was raised by 4 generations of police. It didn't occur to you that maybe you shouldn't pick on police people? It's not the brightest. Y'all aren't the brightest bulbs. Anyways, I'm in road construction in Oklahoma for 40 years. Oh, so you've heard of David Robertson of Dynamic Shot? Nope, never heard of him. Wow. Then he sent you in here. Because I'm telling you, you don't work in the same state for 40 years and not ever even heard of him. It might be that you've not met him, but my guess is you probably have and worked with him closely a time or two. But don't tell me you've never even heard of him. I lived in Vegas, 2 million people in Vegas. In the medical field, everybody knows each other. In Vegas. This is not Vegas. There's 2 million people in the whole state of Oklahoma. The whole state of Oklahoma is the same population as Las Vegas was when I lived there. One town, Las Vegas, metro. All the medical people knew each other. I ran into a nurse in Lubbock that had been a nurse in Las Vegas, and we sat there and we knew all the same people. So you can't tell me that you've worked in road construction in the same industry as Mr. Robertson for 40 years and you never heard of him and think that I'm not going to go, oh, he sent you. Of course he said, now you're a job. You just became a job. Now I'm going to sting up your ass just like I do all the rest of them. Pinto, Mickey James. That's what I do. I'm very good at it. You had 6 years to get me to slip up as to who these guys are helping me, and you didn't get anything out of me. We even got bored. We're trying to help you. I'm bored. I can outsting up your people in my sleep and not even try. It's like brushing my teeth. I don't even have to try. I'm getting all kinds of information and evidence. Pinto, Mickey James, Terry, and David. They're texting me death threats. Texting them. These aren't just verbal threats. These are being texted to me. And I'm like, wow. Are they just that stupid, or am I this good at it? Then, and Pinto, he'll give you $5,000 if you'll sleep with him. I recorded him. Are you wearing a wire? Right? I'm good at what I do. Or your guys are stupid. We're not sure even. But yeah, I got all that and you got nothing out of me. Not a damn thing. You still don't. You guys, I understand, want me back at the strip club. So when I first start working out there, it's getting pretty full. Then I ended up leaving because of the threats. What those 2 policemen said, and it started getting pretty hot in that club. I had people all over me, watching for every little, and it's very difficult to work when you're being harassed at work. So I go work at Lady Godiva's, and I wasn't there a week, and here comes Robertson. And we got the text of that I text Fabian that night. Here's my conversation with Robertson. You're gonna recant your claims that Perry's stalking you, or we're gonna put you in the lake. Wait, excuse me. Let me make sure I understand this right, sir, Mr. Robertson. You've been hired by the man stalking me to come in here and attempt to threaten me into changing my court testimony, because we were just in court in May, at which time I testified under oath, penalty of perjury, that Mr. Perry is stalking me and I needed a protective order, which was denied because I forgot my police report, for one thing. 2, I had a dumbass attorney. I've done a hell of a lot better job against y'all. You won't even let me in court. Did something right. Motion to dismiss was denied. So I'm doing better than she did. Or did you hire her? Yeah, see, we're not sure, right? I think we're all not sure just yet. Maybe that comes out in your criminal case. Then we'll be sure. So when I go back to Sensations after you have me fired from Lady Godiva's, I paid $5,000 on no-show fines. Plus, I lost all the money I would have made had I gone to work, because you're posing such a danger to me there at my work, where you're supposed to live in Texas. You say you're not stalking, and yet you're posing a danger to me at my work in Oklahoma, Forum State, Oklahoma. Oklahoma definitely has jurisdiction, no question. So, by the way, when I put the thing on Pinto, when I filed that motion to, what was it? For a injunctive order after Pinto comes in. Do you know how many guys have said, attorneys and our prosecutor At that point, there should have been an immediate hearing and an injunctive order granted. Right there's jurisdiction in Oklahoma. Right there it's likely, she'd already asked for one. I'm quoting somebody, my prosecutor. She'd already asked for an injunctive order. They made a threat, they carried out the threat. She needs an injunctive order. They're messing with her at work. She's got evidence of that. And we have a subsequent incident that she recorded where again she's at work. The thing is, it's likely to occur again. It's not just likely to occur again, it did occur again. At that point, that court immediately should have taken jurisdiction and granted the injunctive order. So how much did they get paid that they didn't? That Judge Payne, is from Lubbock. Of all the judges we get, how'd we end up with that one? And you know, a reporter said, one of those legal analyst reporters, it is incumbent upon this judge, more than ever, to be very fair to Ms. Ortiz to avoid the appearance of impropriety. And what do you do? Opposite. Everybody you guys pay, everybody you guys work with, opposite. They know we're going to do it anyway. We're going to help her make a case. And you are, and you have. I've never seen anything like it. It's so easy, it's not even fair. That was said. You knew that was said. You knew a reporter said it. You probably even know which reporter said it. Impropriety. It's incumbent upon Judge Payne, who is from Lubbock, to be very fair with Ms. Ortiz to avoid the appearance of impropriety. And he did the opposite. And everybody's going, wow. There is no qualms about the flagrant disregard for the law with these men. Flagrant. They'll flaunt it. They're throwing it in your face. I can disobey the law. I can be corrupt. I can do whatever I want, and I'll get away with it. And I just have to deal with it. And that is not the case this time. It's not the case this time, because you know why? My prosecutor's using every illegal thing you do in civil court to add to your criminal case. He's got quite the case. You guys can't stop. 5 minutes. If there's no 5 minutes in any day that you're not committing a crime against me. And I'm the first one to sue. And I'm the first one to find out beforehand what you're up to. You know why? Because you're pissing everybody off with that. So it's not like you're getting away with anything. If we know about it beforehand. I'm the only one that knew Mike was drugged. Beforehand. Beforehand, sir. You act like you don't know what I'm talking about. Like you act like you have no idea what's happening. You have reporters call around yesterday. One of them. You know that story we're supposed to bury? The stalker. Texas stalker going at that woman in Tulsa. And they told us to bury it. Didn't Rupert Murdoch ask you to bury? Did you ask him to bury that story? Is he one? There's a lot of them. Is he one? And so he buried it. And then now there's phone calls. There's 12 reporters helping these guys. Are you one of them? Can you talk to me about it if you're one of them? Because now there's a dead cop. It looks like they killed a cop. The evidence doesn't match the story. Right? You think everybody's stupid, Charles? You think everybody's dumb like you? And they just can do... Can't tell. Can't look at it. Go. Do you think police all over this country can't look at Mike Neely, cops who solve crimes every day? Can't look at Mike Neely and go, there's no way he did that. Do you think that? Are you that stupid? Are you that fucked hard? It's different when you do it to me, isn't it? You think you have something in common with me, and you're going to use my family to berate me, and that's just... No, I didn't know. Did you want me to cry? Were you hoping I would cry? And I didn't cry, did I? Is that what you wanted? You wanted to make me cry? So you could go, as the witness said, rub one out? See, you're not able to learn from history, because that's never what happens, is it? I got a bag ready. You shit in it. I take the bag, tape it up. That's my evidence. Bag it and tag it, and it goes to court. Right? That's all there is to it. That's all I've done. I've said that. That's not new news. That's old news. I told you so. I did say. So you got an order granted. They don't tell me the specifics about that. All he said was, I'm sure you know what the judge said. He wasn't happy. So, gold star for you. You won another court order. It's not one that you would like, but you won it either way. So I go to Sensations back out there after they fuck with my Godiva's thing so bad. And we had full. I mean, this place, oh my gosh, it'd be so full, especially Friday, Saturday nights, that every seat was taken and there'd be people standing in the back. It was that busy. We'd be doing one VIP after another. Boom, boom, boom. Until, it's like that when I first do something new, and then Perry finds out about it and gets his people in there, and all of a sudden, boom, all the money's gone. Runs off the money every time, with everything, no matter what it is. The money that I made door dashing even was substantially higher than what I'm making now. Now, you have to factor in the gas prices went up, but DoorDash has created incentives. They can't lose all their drivers. We won't have food delivery anymore if people quit because the gas is so high you can't afford to DoorDash anymore, not making any money. So they've provided incentives and rewards, and there's different things that we get to compensate us for and offset the cost of the gas. And you're a little more picky on what orders you take. If you're not getting tipped, don't take the fucking order. And by the way, Mr. Perry, your people don't tip. If it's at a hospital, if I get a call to deliver something at a hospital, that's your guy. And we know that. St. Francis, you use the hell out of them. You got people working at St. Francis. We get calls there. We know, that's Perry's guy. The other way that we know is they don't tip. So, because you're all about the canned food and the peanuts. Here, I'm going to take your steak, and you can have a peanut. I'm giving. Hitler. The Jews had all this money. God bless them. Very wealthy people. They're God's chosen people. And so these people had started businesses and built beautiful homes and had, wealth. And the German Hitler, he gets mad and jealous. He's pathetic. He can't just go make his own money, just like y'all. And so he's a freeloader. So what we're going to do is we're going to decide we don't think they deserve that money. We don't think they deserve what God gave them. So what we're going to do is we're going to round them all up, put them out in a hole in the ground, and take their homes away from them and the businesses that they worked for all their lives and rip their families apart. And he did that. And he's not there now, though, is he? They were set free, weren't they? Because tyrants and murderers seem invincible for a time, but history has shown they fall, always. Gandhi said. Mahatma Gandhi, heard of him? He's stating the obvious. He's stating a fact. You can see it. Look at history. You tyrants, you murderers, seem invincible for a time. But there's a thing that God does where he's like, yeah, I've had about enough of that. In fact, I was reading this one place in the Bible the other day that King Ahab was a monster. Ahab and Jezebel, his wife. Monsters. Abusive people. Defiant and rebellious against God. So, it says God called out a spirit to entice him to go to war, to kill him. And everybody's like, wow, God is using a demon to kill someone. And I'm reading some of the narrative in my Bible because I'm like, wow, does God do that? And what the narrative said is God, knowing there's evil, will use that evil that someone might succumb to end suffering for the people who are not evil and not causing suffering. So what he did is he called out, and it basically says God had a meeting. And in that meeting he said, can anyone deceive Mr. Ahab into going into war so we can end this suffering? And unfortunately that's going to mean the end of his life. But that's his choice. He chose that. He's been told and told and told to cut it out, and he's doing it anyway. And up came a spirit, and that spirit said, I'll do it. So that spirit goes and tells Ahab, go to war. Ahab is killed, and there was this prophecy given over him that dogs would lick his blood. Well, they did. God doesn't lie. You have Joseph. Joseph expected to be bowed to in the backyard. God had a different plan. He was bowed to in the palace. Joseph becomes overcome with tears when his family bowed to him, like God told him would happen. It didn't happen when and how he thought. It was bigger and better. So, Much bigger and better. Joseph overcome. I can get that because when you know God has promised you something and it seems like it's taking a long damn time to happen, and then it finally happens, you can't help but cry. Oh my God, he kept his promise. Look at that. There it is right there. I waited forever for this moment right here. He promised me. I believed him even when it looked like it was impossible. And here it is. He did it. Wow. That's how God does things a lot of times. It just seems like it's just not going to ever happen. It just seems like it's just impossible. It's just no way. He's promising me this, and Sarah has a baby and later in life, and Abraham's going, there's no damn way that can happen. Well, it did. God does what God wants to do. It's not up to you. But he'll warn you when you're doing something to hurt other people. You're going to let Matthew beat Jordan up? Would you let him do that to her? Or Jordan beat Matthew up? Wouldn't you tell him cut it the hell out? What do you think he does? Everybody's his children. We're all his creation. So when you have one person causing suffering to another, do you think he thinks that's cute? If you do this to the least of these, you've done it to me. If you do this to the least of these, you've done it to me. And he's just talking about acts of negligence. You didn't feed me, and you didn't come see me. I'm sick and I'm in jail, and you didn't come see me. So depart from me, I don't know you. But you're doing worse. You're causing the hospitalization, the jail, and the starvation. You're causing it on purpose. So how much worse is it going to be for you? You think you don't answer to God? Okay. You think that all you want. He'll turn you over to a reprobate mind just like he did to Ahab. You'll get a deceptive spirit. Maybe you already do. I want you to think that this is a romance. Actually, it's just crime. And you can dig yourself into the ground all you want. Because I gave you chance after chance after chance to cut it the hell out. And you just didn't. So I'm going to give you over to a reprobate mind and send you a deceptive spirit, and you'll do what that deceptive spirit tells you to do until you meet your demise and the suffering is ending. Apparently, that sometimes is how God works. He worked that way with Ahab. It says it right in the Bible. I'm having a meeting. I'm calling out, do we have a deceptive spirit who can mislead Mr. Ahab into battle so he's dead and the suffering is over? It's time. This stops. It's time for it to stop. And a spirit stepped forward and said, I can do it. He said, then go do it. And he did. So that's what he says. I'll turn you over to a reprobate mind. You're going to be rebellious. You're going to hurt people. You're going to cause suffering. You're going to cause loss. I'm going to let you for a while. But then you're going to meet your demise. And then the suffering's over. What happened when Hitler was gone? Suffering ends. He gave the Jews a place to live and food. They got a biscuit once a week. They got a roof over their heads. It was a shithole. There's lice everywhere. Disease. They had no fucking thing to wear, some of them. But he gave them. Is that what you do? I'm going to take your steak. Here's your peanut. Yeah, your people don't tip. So, at the club, you did the same thing. You run everybody off. And now Paul's broke. Not broke, but his other club, he told me right before I left. COVID ran off a lot of people. We had the Google out there. And the Google shut down. All those people went back home. A lot of them were from out of state, coming in, subcontractors, whatever. So that shuts down. But then if we have 100 people in there a night, and COVID takes 50 of them, and you take half of those, and now we only got 20 people in, both are a factor. Both. So he tells me, my Missouri club is paying for this one. And that should have never been. And I told you, get that club full of paying customers again. You ran them off. You fix it. You broke it. You fix it. You owe him that. You fucking owe him that. I don't even work there now. But that place would be so packed full of people. Before COVID, you fucked with that. It wasn't just COVID. You started doing that before COVID. And you made people mad because there was two guys that told me. I mean, I'm on stage, and one of them starts to put money on the stage. It wasn't much. It was $2. And his friend pushes his hand back, and he goes, you can't tip her. She pissed off some bigwig from Texas. They told us not to tip her. And he goes, wow, let's leave. I don't want to deal with that. Let's get out of here. And they left. You made them that uncomfortable. A lot of people don't like what you're doing. It's very uncomfortable. So I throw a fit about it, and a couple weeks later, the stage is full of money. So I grab up my money, and I'm going in the back, and one of the girls comes up to me and she goes, about time he fucking let you make money. And I go, what? About time he fucking let you make money. And I go, let me make money? What the hell? Are you shitting me with this? What planet is this that we live on? We don't have misogyny here now. There's no slavery. You're from Lubbock. Slavery ended in the Civil War. You people in Lubbock didn't get that memo, did you? Fucktard. Let me. She goes, I thought you knew. I go, I did know. I didn't know you knew. She goes, everybody knows he has the meetings in here. Tells us what we're supposed to say, what we're supposed to do. Yep, they did the same thing at Lady Godiva's. She goes, I'm sorry. I'm sorry you're having to go through that. I think it makes everybody uncomfortable. Yep, it does, Mr. Perry. When you did it to me is when you started getting told on. Because you weren't before you did it to me, right? You intimidate people into keeping their mouth shut. And when it's me, it's different. And you haven't realized yet that you have a new normal. You're fucked hard. The Civil War ended slavery, bitch. It is illegal to have a slave, bitch. The Emancipation Proclamation. Have you heard of it? Can you read? We think you can't think past tying your shoe, and you even need help with that sometimes. So all I do is have my bag, it's open. When you shit in it again, I'll take it back to court. It's already in the criminal case. The judge heard what you did with my ex-husband. He wasn't happy. You're going to jail, and you're taking your problems with you. You and your slavery. Nobody owes you a fucking thing. Matt, there was no name on the damn police report. There wasn't a name. That was been talked about for years. I filed that report on November 4th or 5th. November 4th, I think. 2019, and the murder happened 6 days later. Matt, are you responsible for the death of the chief of police in Manford? Did you contribute to that in any way, or the cover-up thereafter? Matt, did you? Mr. Perry, you can act like a little girl and a little young child or a retarded person, or you can be a dignitary, sir, but you can't be both. You can't do both. It isn't normal to peep and hack and stalk and coerce. It is bizarro. You're a weirdo. And you're alone for a reason. What you're doing is illegal for a reason. Everybody else does not do that for a reason. And you cannot be a dignitary and pathetic both. You can't. You're one or the other. I've been rejected. I moved on. Next. There's all kinds of men. I want to meet them all. I'd like to get to know them all. I'm not going to get stuck on one that doesn't like me. Why do that? There's all kinds of men to meet. So what is pathetically wrong with you that you can't keep up with just normal people? We all get rejected. We all move on. It is a crime to continue to force yourself on a woman that doesn't like you. Doesn't feel anything for you. Don't want anything to do. Just like this bitch.
Oh no. Please.
Just talk to me for 2 minutes.
First, let me say that I'm happy that the lady in this video is okay. Second, let me break down what rape culture is. Rape culture is the fact that that man felt that he was entitled to some of this woman's time just because he said, let me talk to you for 2 minutes. It doesn't matter if it's 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 20 minutes. If he said no.
You've said over and over you want to talk to me just like that guy, forcing yourself on me, and I said no. When you do this shit to me, everything changed. All of a sudden, everything's different, and you act like you don't have a new normal. You don't know you have a new normal. You fucking have a new normal. Nobody has what we have. No one. I'm gonna build my case. I'm building my case. And we're stopping your suffering, and you act like you don't know that. You ask who's told. You make phone calls. Who's helping her? You're calling reporters. Find out who the 12 reporters are. It doesn't get any more fucktard than you.
No means no. Rape culture is the comments that she has on her video about how she should have just spoke to him or dressed differently. Rape culture is me taking the heat for calling out other men for their terrible behavior. Rape culture is trying to explain stuff as, oh, it's just locker room talk. No, it's not locker room talk. You should talk the same way wherever you are. We all know that rape is not about sex, it's about power. So for you to force yourself on somebody, even if you're just talking to them, is disgusting, dude.
It is disgusting. You are a disgust. You repulse me. There's nothing there. I have nothing in common with you. You're lazy. You're having my ex-husband yell at me because I can't get my fucking Dasher app to work and I'm broke. Or I'm trying to go online and get writing jobs and you call everybody and tell them don't give her a job. And you have him berate me like that. You're the one watching me work and go through that. You're the lazy one. You're, but you get told on when you do it to me. You've never had that happen before and you act like you don't know you have a new normal. You're fucked hard. Alright, this is the McNamara email to my ex-husband. Dated October 29, 2015. I'm going to find a way to false arrest her. And then he did. But the thing is I had this before. There's a recording that goes with this. That's a lot more information than what's in this email. This email's vague. It just gives the basic things that you were threatening at the time. The thing with what did I say here? I don't want a scandal. I don't want a thing. I don't want an ordeal. I want him to leave me the fuck alone. And at that point, you could have. And you chose not to. Yep. And you getting turned over to a reprobate mind, I think. This is Fabian, intersecting with the word hope. You're just a butt-in. I got that in jail. These guys helping me, got that to me in jail. Right up under your nose, wasn't up to you. So now we have two things, McNamara email and this puzzle. Nobody asked you if permission. It wasn't up to you. It got from you. The McNamara email got from you to them and from them to me. And this got from them to me. And it wasn't up to you. Yep. There's the thing. This is the judge. I need you to leave her alone so I can rule out entrapment because she's got those harassment emails. We're going to send her home, harass the fuck out of her, and then when she complains about it, we'll say she's harassing us. And then you did it in twice in civil court. Right at that time, Justice Scalia dies. He's a First Amendment guy. You wanted to perpetrate a fraud upon the highest court in the land. And he dies in West Texas, right when you're planning all that. Not some other random time, right then, right there. It wasn't some other random cops. It was Chief Miller and Officer Neely. One of them's dead. Right after they took my complaint. Matt, what part did you play in that? Charles, I don't want to hear from you. Listen, no one cares what you think. We don't know why in the fuck you think we care what you think. You weren't asked. You're an intruder, sir, not an invited guest. No one asked you what you think. We really have asked you and begged you and pleaded with you to just shut up. We're all tired of hearing it. Everybody's tired of hearing it. Charles, everybody's sick of hearing from you. No one asked you what you think. I said don't contact me. Don't invade my privacy and get out of my wallet. Or they'll do it for you. They already are. This right here was that. Dumb fuck. You're stupid. That's the car. We're going to get her car. You think Mike didn't already know about this when he came to take my report? I didn't see who actually did it. It is possible. It was a random guy that I had never heard of and don't know. But I think we all know more likely it's the stalker. But the thing is, until there's an investigation, nobody can possibly know for sure. We can't know. Matt. That's been said over and over and over and over. It's not an afterthought. It has always been said. There's not been anything else said. There has been said by more than one person who is a reasonable, prudent individual and can evaluate facts and come to a conclusion, a logical, reasonable conclusion, which you can't seem to do. Smarter than you. Everybody's smarter than you. Since they threatened her car specifically, and then something happens to her car, we think it's probably them, but we're not sure. There's still a chance it's not. But then after the chief is murdered 6 days later, that even increased that chance that it was them to did the vandalism even more. And they obstructed justice again. There's two things that are similar. Two people who are drugged and don't die and end up false arrested. Where there's a fraud in a court that results in an arrest and the deprivation of liberty. Twice. Here's the thing, Matt. We're all smart. I'm sorry you're not able to keep up. The plane hit the World Trade Center and nobody knew. Is it random? Is this a pilot that had a diabetic attack or a heart attack and he didn't know what he was doing? Is it an accident? Was there instruments not working right or a plane malfunction? But then the second hour, a plane hit the tower, and now we know it's terrorism. Now, why can you not keep up with everybody else? That you would go into court and make accusations about me that are ridiculous? See, you need to be able to be as smart as everybody else. Because I promise you, everybody else got it. There's a threat to her car. Something happens to her car. Chances are high it's the people that made the threat. Marcus Harper. Do you know Marcus Harper? Mr. Powell. Sergeant Marcus Harper, TPD, Major Crimes. Have you talked to him? You know what he told me? You know what he told me? Here's the thing when we solve a crime. Guy A threatens Guy B. Guy B ends up dead. Chances are high Guy A did it. You think? Matt, you got to keep up, man. You got to keep up. It's irritating to deal with slow people. So, there's a threat to my car, Matt, Mr. Powell. The taillights are taken out. I was woken up. Go fix your taillight right now. He just had them taken out at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I worked all night long. I slept till 3. They wake me up at 1. Go fix your taillight right now. He had it taken out. You have to get into the car with a key to get the trunk open. Both in that car and it may not be at this car, but for sure the one I have now. There is no key entrance in the trunk. You have to have a key to open the inside and pop the trunk open. There's no other way in the trunk to get to the light. You have to have a key to the trunk in this car, Mr. Powell. So if police that gave me the McNamara email before you did that and told me Mike Neely was drugged, before anybody else knew about it, and told me they got your taillight out, Sin, go fix it, or he'll have you pulled over. You need to keep up, Matt. You're slow. It's very irritating to deal with that. Don't go into court again and lie. I promise you'll wish you hadn't done that. This was the letter to the U.S. Attorney after I talked to those 2 cops in August 2015. He's going to try to find a way to arrest you. He has to help, and we said no. That's not why we're cops. So he might buy one, and one might be bought. Be careful. Look at that. Matt, you seen that? You got to look at evidence and be, any reasonable, prudent individual, Mr. Powell, who's halfway intelligent, doesn't have egg for brains, IQ of ice, or hammers. Okay, look at that. They said that they wanted to get her on harassment, but we're watching everything. Looks to us like they're harassing her. And I got stuff to do. I don't have time for this. They wanted to use us, law enforcement, to harass her by pulling her over all the time. And we just told them, no, we're not doing that. There was one officer in Manford that pulled me over. There was one. And I looked at him and I said, listen, I'm being stalked. You are not to give out my address. You know what he said? I'm going to tell you they got your address. I go, really? He goes, he can hire a PI and get your address, and they have it. I said, well, then I expect you to keep an eye on me and keep me safe. Patrol. We got it. We'll patrol. You know my storage unit. That guy also patrolled where my storage unit was, and I had no problems with my storage unit until the night of Lucky Miller's procession, and he's at the procession. Then that night, when he's not around, that cop, he got in my storage and he took my birth certificate. You sex trafficking? Trying to haul me across the Canadian border? No good. Mr. Perry doesn't need her social security card and her birth certificate. No good can come from him having those documents. Mr. Perry, I need you to understand. I don't want to hear from you. I don't care what you think. No one's asking you, are they? Why do you think I care what you think? Because you continue to try to talk to me, and I don't want to talk to you. This is to document your crime for our court. But no one cares what you think. I'm not calling you up and asking you, am I? I'm not. I don't want to. You think that every time you cause a problem, I'll call you. No one understands why the fuck do you think that? Why do you think that? No one cares what you think, sir. We've just told you to stop. Comply with the law. Go be with your family. Go work. Get off your ass. Quit watching me on TV. Quit daydreaming and pretending. And go be a dignitary. I don't care what you think. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear from you. I'm not going to help you, sir. He's still asking me, is it this guy? Is it that guy? Listen to the words I'm saying. I don't care to help you. I don't care what you think. I'm not going to help you. And I'm not told that information. Wouldn't help you if I was. You know why? All you do is cause problems for me. And when you're in jail, the problems are gone with you. No one's going to help you. All this time you've asked me and asked me and asked me, and what do I say? Same thing. Write it down. I'm not told who your leaks are. I don't care who your leaks are. I'm glad to have the information. What I'd like you to do, sir, is act like with dignity. Shut up and get out. Shut up and get out. You're causing problems. You're pissing everybody off. You're getting told on. We don't have leaks. You have leaks. We have a McNamara email. We have a Mike was drugged email that go with a recording. I'm sitting here showing it to you. It's not up to you. We get it no matter what you want. No matter what you think. Charles, I need you to shut up. Listen to the words. Act like you understand me. Fucktard. Shut up. Nobody cares what you think. No one cares. You're not asked. Nobody asked you. You weren't asked. Act like you understand me, fucktard. I don't care what you think. Do you understand what that means? I don't care to hear it. I don't care to hear it. We're all tired of hearing it. Shut up. Stop acting stupid. Act your age. Stop being a little girl. Get over it and move on like a man. I don't want you. You're not wanted. You're told on. Shut up. You need to learn how to control yourself. Criminologists tell us that criminals have low IQ and low impulse. They can't control themselves, and they're stupid. Right? Marcus said that. Criminals are stupid, or they wouldn't be criminals. He's not wrong, and there's actually scientific data to back that up. So, this is the thing that was reported to Mike. Again, without seeing who did it, which nobody saw, we can't know for sure, but it might be stalking related. And then there's this, since kind of like Marcus said, guy A threatens guy B. Guy B ends up dead, probably guy A did it. Logical reasoning, Mr. Powell, right? You're stupid too. I mean, here's the thing. I don't like fucktards. I don't like stupid people. I don't. Reasonable, prudent individual, Matt, which you've not been since I've had to interact with you. Reasonable, prudent person would not have put something before a judge, caused a woman's life to be blown up and a child, my son, lose their house over some make-believe political vendetta and a police report that wasn't investigated. No evidence collected. What kind of reasonable, prudent asshole acts like that, Mr. Powell? Why do you call up here about me all the time? Don't you, he's stalking too? You got some sort of weirdo problem too? So, they threw a brick at me and it hits my engine and busted in two. That had already happened. When this happened, this was the new car. 6 days later, Chief Miller's dead. Why is that? Another wreck, another wreck, another wreck, another... Oh, no, it's not us. Plane hits the World Trade. It's an accident. 2 planes do. Nope, it's terrorism. Now, what do you think that is, Mr. Powell? Are you a fucktard too? We're tired of dealing with it. We're all sick and tired of y'all coming up to Oklahoma. I came here to get away from you. I went through a lot of trouble to move my child twice, so not to deal with your bullshit. So don't make me deal with your bullshit. Because I promise you, sir, you too, and your actions directed at me that are illegal are being heard in the same court where there's going to be arrest warrants and shit issue. What day are they going to bang on your door? I'm getting information. You're not. You don't know who they are. Nobody will tell you. Nobody will tell you who the 12 are, will they? The 12 reporters helping us? You better watch out. I don't pick a fight with you. You're picking one with me. I moved to get away from a fight. Charles, nobody gives a fuck what you think. You need to shut up. You're not asked. No one asked you, Connie Curry. Nobody asked you. This is you, pal. Can we just get her whereabouts? Do we not have Ms. Ortiz's whereabouts? Somebody give me her address. Do we know her whereabouts? Oh my God, shut up. I moved here to get away from you. And to not have any contact, no conflict. I don't want to deal with you. We don't want to deal with it. Nobody does. We're getting information like that, and you can't find out. Charles, listen to the words I'm saying. Will you please listen? Nobody cares what you think. No one cares. No one asked you. What were you asked to do? Don't contact me again. Shut up. Shut up, fucktard, and get away from me. Don't contact me again. Get out of my computer. Get out of my phones. Shut up. You aren't asked what you think. No one's helping you. Everybody's sick and tired of y'all. We get the information. You have leaks. We don't have leaks. Everybody likes what we're doing. They don't like what you're doing. Fucktard. Get it. I'm tired of repeating myself. Shut up. Control yourself. You are pathetic. This, Matt, goes way back, doesn't it? You can't get off the phone asking for my whereabouts. Why don't you get the hay out of your mouth and talk right? So, you've irritated a lot of people with those phone calls, Mr. Powell, or I wouldn't have that. I wouldn't have it. Had you not irritated a whole lot of people. Tired of hearing it, Mr. Powell. Everybody's sick and tired of hearing it. So, I just want you to know that. That was an exhibit in court, Mr. Powell. So, we got all this stuff that nobody's gotten. You coaxed him. Like you're coaxing me to Texas. We coaxed Mike Neely to Pensacola, where we blew up his life. Charles, shut up! Get out of my computer. Shut up. He types in my computer when I'm doing these, and 9 times out of 10 when I say shut up, he does. He acts like he thinks it's a conversation. He can't know I'm recording a podcast, but for peeping and hacking. He's a little peeping Tom who sits around watching TV, pretending like a little girl with his dolly. I hear he has a little dolly. That's not dignitary, is it? Be a girl or be a dignitary, but you can't do both. You need to be seen in Lubbock with your family and your friends with constituents, and not in Oklahoma, sitting around on your fat ass, accusing women that you're stalking and keeping from getting at work of being lazy. You're the lazy one, fucktard. So, you're actually texting me with a subpoena. I know you're a witness. I'm going to tamper with you anyway. Because I'm going to flagrantly break the law and expect nobody's going to do a thing. Watch this, though. We have stuff nobody else has. Everybody hates you. So you're told on. We're not told on. We don't have leaks. You're told on. Fucktard. You act like you have no idea what I'm saying. Your response is never appropriate for what's been said. Ever. Our shrink thinks you're severely mentally retarded. Severely mentally retarded. He never responds like a reasonable, prudent, halfway intelligent guy. He always responds in the bizarrest, most strange-o ways ever. Like this morning, when the judge heard my ex-husband yelling at me like that, that's kind of what was said. Again, we have the inappropriate response for what she just said. They know we knew he was going to do that. We've got 10 recordings leading up to that. Wow. And they did it anyway. Wow. That's interesting. That's every time you do, every time. You never respond right. You always respond fucktard. Like, I don't know what she said. I don't understand that. We're caught. We're going to do it anyway. And then she'll go, well, I told you so. Oh my God. So easy. It's not even fair. So you coax him to Pensacola, and now you're trying to force me to Texas. You're using my ex-husband to coax. Accuse me of being lazy. You don't work because you don't want to work. Yeah, actually, I do want to work. But Mr. Perry has this. We have this witness, and he's proving out my witness, and I'm going to make my case. So unfortunately, I'm going to have to use what you're saying, because I'm going to make my case. Come hell or high water. We're putting a stop to this, Mr. Perry. It's not up to you. Right? But I got, I mean, well, how many I told you so? Did you want to give me this? We got that and went up to you. That's what that says. We need her back in Texas where I can do more to her. What did the judge say when he heard that? And then he heard my ex-husband today. What do you think he said, Charles? You got a gold star. You won that court order. And you still think I care what you think? Are you shitting me with that? Severely mentally retarded. He needs to be in a special needs facility. You got Huntington's disease? You can tell. It's squirting out your ears. You reek of it. Can't get her kicked out from COVID, so we'll have her get kicked out on smoking, because that's what I do. I kick women out of their homes. What do you think the judge thought when you actually did it? And he heard the recording. My landlord go, how many people have you done this to? Yeah, nobody has this, do they? And we got that. It wasn't up to you, was it, Mr. Powell? Yep. And then look at that. Okay, look at the date on that. It's dated February 9, 2021. Look at that. It was, by the way, that's right before Mike's trial. Mike's trial was in March. So you're already tampering with a witness. Right? I was on the witness list. Right? And you think nobody's going to do anything about this? What's the date on that? The 15th, after. We said it before. Because you were recorded talking about it before. And we got that because you pissed everybody off. You have leaks, we don't. You're getting told on, we're not. You don't have a date. You have no chance of a date. You have pretend land. I'm a little girl with my dolly, watching Frozen, pretending. Sitting around fat and lazy on my ass. Not acting like a dignitary, are ya? Yep. You want to talk to me? Are you shitting me with that? You want to talk to me? Mr. Perry wants to talk to me. As many times as you have gone over how good I am at a sting op, you want to talk to me? And you're as dumb as a brick, and you think you can talk to me? Are you shitting me with that? I'm happy to talk to you downtown with Tulsa police after you've been Mirandized and you've waived your right to counsel. And I want to know who Monique is. And I want to know what happened to Mary Beth. And I want to know what you did to Justice Scalia, because William O. Ritchie, murder cop of D.C., questioned why there was no protocol followed. Post-mortem protocol was not followed in West Texas as it would have been in D.C. had he died there. And Ritchie's D.C. police are on it. Right? So you want to talk to me about that? I'm happy to listen. You want to talk to me about what you did to Mike and Lucky? I'm happy to listen, sir. Sure you want to talk to me? I think one of your guys told you a long time ago. I think you better be glad she said no. Because you're being like all Alzheimer's and crap. You'd leave something incriminating laying around. She'd have you locked up in 3 days. Remember who it is you're dealing with and who you're talking to. Yep, right? Is that right, sir? Not a mark on him. Lucky Miller's beat so hard and so badly his head came off his body. Internal decapitation, that's what that is. Blunt force trauma to the head. He's found knocked out. He's found in respiratory distress dying. They can't find a bump on his head. What caused him to be knocked out? And it's unconscious. Can't remember a thing. What caused that? Something caused it. First responders get there. That's their job. Let's find out what's causing this man to be unconscious and in respiratory distress. The symptoms are drug overdose. Give him Narcan. And he wasn't tested, unfortunately, before the Narcan altered his blood composition. So now we don't know how much it was and all that stuff. And I said that to the Florida State's Attorney. In March, their depositions weren't taken until May. What I said is, he was drugged and not given a full tox. That's a Brady violation. Let him go home. He's the wrong guy. You can't beat somebody to death and look like that. His hands would look like Chief Miller's face, and they don't. He wasn't in a fight. The fight was between you guys, your people, and Lucky. What'd you give him? What'd you put in his drink? They were talking about Epstein right before the murder. You are that guy. You are that Epstein. They had one on their desk. That's what they were talking about. You know, fucktard. Wake up. No one cares what you think. We're tired of you. We're so tired of you. You never shut up. You never shut up. When you're gone, so are the problems. It is very easy for us to get information. I said it all weekend. You guys were talking about my ex-husband, and you were recorded, and that was put out. Philip and Mallory have it. Get her car. Don't let her ex-husband help her. She's under a bridge, or she does what we say. She'll lie. Or she'll starve. That's a crime. Here's my bag. I'm going to take that in while you do it, and then it's going to court, and it did this morning, or this afternoon, right after you did it. So, you want to talk? Talk to me about who Monique is. Charles, talk to me about Monique. Talk to me about Mary Beth. Talk to me about Todd Reno. Talk to me about Justice Scalia. Talk to me about Chief Miller. After you waive Miranda, waive your right to counsel. Right? You have the right to remain silent. Any stupid thing you say and do can and will be used against you in a court of law. You might want to shut up. You have the right to an attorney. If you can afford one, we'll get the dumbest fuck we got just for you. That one, you heard of that? Miranda? So you want to do that? You want to talk to me? Waive Miranda. And I'll talk to you down at the police station, and you can explain to me who's Monique. You can explain to me who's Mary Beth, what you did to her. You can explain to me what you did to Chief Miller and Justice Scalia. You can explain all that to me, okay? That's the only way I'll talk to you. Because you don't make one lick of sense to me at all. Not one lick. And we're tired of dealing with this. You have leaks because everyone's tired of dealing with this. Once you're in jail, we don't have to. We don't have leaks because everybody's glad we're putting a stop to it. Do you understand words? Act like you understand me. Okay, so we got all that. See, this is... They're coming up and taking pictures of her. Like Neil said. I got pictures of you. Well, Neil, you are a stalker. I don't have pictures of you. So, I'm going to close with this. I don't want your bribe. I don't want to lie for you. If you want to give me whatever I want, then give... my parents owe me money. I shouldn't have to call anybody and ask for money, ever. I can make money. So get out of my wallet so I can make money. Because everywhere I go, my club's full. Nobody's able... I mean, you can't find a seat in there. It's busy. Until you start coming around, then all of a sudden it's empty and nobody's coming in. And everybody's broke. And everybody's mad. I'm going to take your steak and here's your canned food. Be happy. I gave. You and Hitler. Terrorizing and pissing everybody off. And I have nothing in common with you. You don't see me peeping and hacking and making trouble. I'm collecting evidence of what you do. Because I'm going to get my bad guy. That's all what I'm doing. Do you understand? I'm not a cop, but I'm something. Right? Surely you know that by now. You keep asking. You had Travis Myers, Florida State's attorney, ask me if I'm a cop. Didn't you? You know I'm something. I told you to leave me alone. Get out of my wallet. Lucky told you, get out of her wallet. Every time you interfere with a contract, me to who I'm supposed to pay, and the person I'm supposed to pay to who they're supposed to pay that they can't, because I'm not paying. All the contracts affected. You're going to get nailed with that. Make sure you can pay for it, because you will. You are. And you already are to some extent. So when you got pictures, people taking pictures of me, making all the neighbors very wildly uncomfortable, she told me 3 times, I have called Lucky and asked him to increase patrol. This is wildly uncomfortable, having these people come up here and take pictures. I've lived here 10 years. I've never seen that before until you got here. There's kids here. There's children here. We don't need this. No one needs this. This is creepy. We'd like them to stop. Stalking is a crime because it makes everybody very uncomfortable. It's creepy. You're creepy. I'm not going to talk to you unless you're going to make a confession. Do you understand? You're going to have to waive your right to counsel and confess. I'm not going to take your bribe. If you want to give me something, give back what you took and get the fuck out of my life. I don't want your BioLi money. I don't want it. I don't appreciate you having my ex-husband treat me that way. Don't do that again. Don't ever fucking do that again. I know my ex-husband. That's not his normal. That's your normal. I shouldn't have to call him. My parents owe me a whole bunch of money that they were going to pay me. And the same guys that recorded you on the McNamara email and recorded you, Michael's drugged, they got that because they're investigating you. It's not some random guy in Iowa that they're investigating. And there comes up something about Mike and Lucky being drugged and beat up and all that. Mike was drugged. That was an investigation into you that gave me that information months before it was on the docket. So, and I didn't volunteer that up to Travis and Gene. I'm waiting for them to say things that indicate they're on Mike's side or on the case of let's find the truth. Instead of let's try to make this harassment bullshit that Mr. Perry wants done. You sent me 20 emails. I didn't have time to read them all. And I'm like, nope, I sent you 5. And after the 5th one, I said, I've got a lot of evidence to send you, Mr. Myers, and I don't want to bog you down with emails, so I'm going to set up a Dropbox for you. And he knew that, and he still did his bullshit. So I sting-opped him, too. And his claim was Mr. Neely, with his ass, caused all this damage to Chief Miller while he was asleep. Who came up with that? You're robbing a man of his future, a cop, police officer. So, believe me when I say people hate your guts and we don't have a hard time getting information and you're not getting shit because people hate your guts and we're stopping it. They don't like what you're doing. They do like what we're doing. I'm going to make my case. Do you understand? Guy's coming up in a black Lexus with Texas plates banging on her door. Everybody talked about that black Lexus with Texas plates. When Chief Ridley was pulled up in the parking lot, my first time I really met him, I thought that's who that was. There's a black SUV. It's dark. It was at night. I pulled over there and I walked right up to him. I've had enough of this. I'm sorry, sir. Who are you and what are you doing here? And then I saw all the equipment. I go, oh, are you a cop? And he started laughing at me. You know what he could have said? I'm a police officer. It doesn't concern you. He didn't. He laughed at me. Thank God. He was so nice. He just laughed at me and I said, I'm so sorry. But what police department are you with? And he goes, Manford. And I go, I thought Manford had white cars. I've never seen the black one. He goes, Chief Miller got this in a drug bust. I said, oh, okay. And, oh, by the way, I have some papers for you. I had the pictures of the inside of that room that I had shown Mike, but I hadn't given them yet. So what I gave him was pictures like that. Because I showed Mike on my phone. I had just taken the pictures when he came. Laura then cleaned the room. And so I had to give them the actual pictures. So I took them to, whatever, UPS store and printed up the pictures and gave them to him that night. So, I mean, this is, Mr. Powell, this is how you Sherlock a case. It's not hard. You got to know how to do it. This is yours. They don't call me. The TPD don't call me till February. You guys had me thrown in jail on the 29th for a report filed just a few days before. Nobody took my evidence. That's what she says. If you want to pursue charges, I need the evidence. Now, Mr. Powell, would any reasonable, prudent individual do that and cause a woman to lose her home? And a kid, a little boy? A little boy who's already lost his brother, thanks to Charles. His world's blown up. Had to move twice to get away from the man that caused all that. And then you helped him cause him more. He lost his home again. You look my son in the face, Mr. Powell, and you tell him you're sorry. One of these days you're going to do it. I'm going to make you do it. I'm not going to hold a gun to your head, but I'm going to find a way to make you do that without it breaking the law. Apologize to my son, look him in the face, and tell him how sorry you are that you caused him to lose his home by fraud upon a court. You owe him at least that. You at least owe him that. If you do this to the least of these, you've done this unto me. That's what you did to my son. You caused him to lose his home. We had a nice little house in Sapulpa, right by the tennis courts. My kid, on Saturday, Mr. Powell, wasn't out doing drugs, wasn't out drinking, wasn't out, sleeping around, skanking around with other teenage girls, getting girls pregnant. My son didn't do that. His life was already blown up. If anybody has an excuse to fail, it is my boy, Dennis. It's my son. He'd already lost his home, Mr. Powell, in Lubbock. We left to get away from that. To not have any conflict, to not have to deal with you weirdos. You freaky Jason weirdos in Texas, Lubbock, that don't know that slavery ended in the Civil War. Bunch of fucktards. He'd already gone through that. Mr. Perry influenced the judge, drunk Deborah, and took his brother away from him, his best friend. Just took him away. He lost his grandparents. It's like some people died. Blew his family up. He'd already been through all that. And yet, he's not using that as an excuse to fail, Mr. Powell. What he's doing, he's not drugs. He's not drinking. He's not sleeping around. He did the sex thing teenage boys do later, but not then. And what happened is he's not doing all that crap. He's not driving drunk. He's not in any trouble. He's not robbing people. He's not doing anything like that. On Saturday morning, he's going to play tennis at the tennis courts one house over. He's the captain of the tennis team at his high school. That's what my son did. He didn't use it as an excuse to fail. And I'm going in and telling him in that October email. He heard me telling his dad also. It wasn't just an email. I called his dad. And we're talking about it on the phone. And he treated me pretty much like you just heard. Pretty much like you just heard. My son was traumatized from that, Mr. Powell. And I'm telling him, they're threatening me with false arrest. They're threatening me with false arrest. And my son goes, do you want me to call Craig? And I go, no, I'm fine. I'm okay, but I'm reasonably upset. Wouldn't you be? Wouldn't anybody be? And then I'm having to tell my child, Mr. Powell, who's 14 years old, I got to go to work. As you know, I may not come home. I may end up dead or arrested. So I love you. If that happens, call Craig. Every night I went to work, Mr. Powell, because I'm getting threatened and given arsenic. Recant your claims or we'll put you in the lake, Mr. Powell. Who do you think you are, sir? Who do you fucking think you are? To put a kid through that? Or perpetrate it, or accessory, or conspirator? Who do you fucking think you are? She lied about the Manford report. Dude, way back when, I got all... You better watch when you start asserting what I think and what I have to say, because I probably have 20 emails to the contrary. We document everything like we do here. That's what that's for. Connecting the dots says, document everything. Cops, you better fucking keep up. I'm not slowing down for you. When I meet a cop, I have to explain it to you. I get really irritated with that. You're expected to, Sherlock that thing and think it through. You had to take a test that says you can think it through, so fucking think it through. I'm not going to do it for you. This, Mr. Powell, is evidence of obstructed justice. Where's my blood test, sir? You didn't have any intent to go to trial. You just fucked with me. We're just going to intimidate her. Because if you had intent to go to trial, since she didn't get a blood test, you had an obligation legally to do so. You read the ABA rules? I have. I've read them, sir. So, I have to call my child. I think I had tweeted it not 2 seconds before. Mr. Perry's threatening false arrest again. Bang, bang, bang. Here they are. Wow. Here they are to do that. Filing a false police report in retaliation for a public servant doing his job. And you keep trying to get me to file another police report. And making false allegations about the one filed in Manford. You're trying to do it again, aren't you? You keep trying to push me. You're taking my taillight out twice. You flattened a tire, thinking I'll call TPD. So, what's your problem? Huh? You think people are stupid like you and this nobody else suspect a thing? The building has a plane go into it. It might be just random. But then two, okay, now it's just now it's a terrorism. Now you're terrorizing. That's all that is. Why do you want me to call Tulsa? Why do you want me to call Tulsa police? Why do you want Broken Arrow police to pull me over, or Tulsa police to pull me over, or now it's state law enforcement? We can't get them to do it. We'll get state law enforcement to do it. Recorded and recorded and recorded and recorded. You have leaks, we don't. People don't like what you're doing. They do like what we're doing. How many times I got to repeat myself? Give it back and get out. My parents owe me money, and the same way we got all this stuff, you're recorded calling them and telling them not to give me the money. Not your place, sir. Not your place. Interfering with contracts and shit. Taking my money. Now I gotta call my ex-husband. Try to get some from him. And he berates me. You're just lazy. Oh my God. Wow. If you only knew. Which I'm sure you do, or you wouldn't have said that. The guy who sits around on his fat lazy ass watching me work all day, or try to work, and get frustrated. Did he tell you to say that? Yeah. Okay. So, you need to leave people alone, Mr. Perry, because the more you fuck with me, the more you get caught. And you act like you have no idea what I'm saying, and you act like you have no idea what's happening. Oh, I was going to finish my story. I have ADD bad. So, my son got that call. I call him from Sepulpa jail. Guess what? What? You know that threat Mr. Perry is threatening, jail or dead? Yeah, I'm in jail. He goes, oh my God. I mean, we talked about it and talked about it and talked about it. Here's what we do if he carries out this threat. Mr. Powell, we had talked about it. You put my kid through that. If you do this to the least of these, you have done this unto me. Depart from me. I don't know you. You're going to have to talk to God about what you've done to us, sir. Don't you again go into a court of law and talk for me. I'll talk for me. Don't you misrepresent facts anymore, all of you. Charles, who's Monique? Who's Mary Beth? What'd you do to Justice Scalia? What'd you do to Chief Miller? You've done it to a lot of people, haven't you? You're just a serial killer, aren't you? Grandiose thinking serial killer. I'm entitled to take. What's yours is mine, and what's mine is mine. Is that what you think? Is that what you think, sir? You're getting told on because people don't like what you're doing, and we're not because people like what we're doing. We're making you stop. causing problems. When you're in jail, the problems are gone too. They go with you. Don't they? So you have this fraud upon a court, and then you dismiss it a year and a half later. And in the meantime, I say, you guys ask me, can you lie? Can you just let us save face? No. Fuck you. You don't know. You look what you just did to my child. We lost our house again. My mugshot is everywhere, and I didn't commit a crime. I'm following the law, and you knew that because my first protective order was denied because I didn't have my police report, and I'm getting threatened with death and false arrest. There's no text anywhere political. It's all about stalking. You lied in court to get an order you shouldn't have been able to get, and you're trying to do it again ever since. So, Mr. Powell, what he can do is fuck off, and I'll stay quiet, but he didn't. Second, my feet hit Oklahoma dirt. What does that first one say? Charles Perry's not to contact her again. Well, in order to make that agreement, first you have to admit you're doing it and agree to stop. First, you have to say, yep, I'm stalking her, and I agree to stop if she'll stay quiet. And Lucky Miller said, I've seen bond conditions. That's not what this is. This is a cover-up negotiation. So you killed him? Because he said that? Because he was going to put a stop to your crime too? Now you're trying to kill me? Coax her back to Texas so we can kill her. Coax Mike to Pensacola so we can kill him. Murder in the first degree of a cop. Murder. Attempted murder of a first degree in a cop. Fraud upon a court. Perjury. Suborning perjury. Murder of the first degree. Attempted murder of a first degree of, I'm not allowed to say what. Me. So do it again. Do it again. Don't say you will give me whatever I want if I lie. Give me what I want, really. Give back just what you took, just what you owe legit, and get the fuck out of my life. My parents owe me money, and you called to impede that. And I shouldn't have to call my ex-husband and ask for shit. So make sure I get my money. Call and apologize. We shouldn't have told you that. That was out of line. We were being nosy like Connie Curry. Butting into shit that doesn't have anything to do with us. Or you can get charged. It's up to you. You choose. I'm sure you can live with your choices, right? You've seen things happen with me you've not seen before anywhere else, right? Look at that. Where's my blood test, Matt? How is that political, Matt? How is that political, Mr. Powell? Does everybody want me to come down on the whole Roe versus Wade thing real quick? Because Mr. Perry makes some false allegation that I'm pro-choice. I'm not. I'm pro-life. I supported his election. My clients, Randy Reed, they're all pro-life. Harry Reid, by the way, was pro-life too. He was Mormon and pro-life. A Democrat, pro-life Democrat. He voted very consistently pro-life. So, was everybody expecting me to, she's secretly pro-choice and she's going to be mad about that? Here's what I'm thinking. Forget all that. I'm pro-life, first of all. And I'm past childbearing age, so I really don't give a fuck. Doesn't have anything to do with me personally, does it? Doesn't affect that law, that ruling doesn't affect me personally at all. I'm not going to need an abortion at this point in my life. So whatever. But I'm going to tell you this. It's going to be, and I have no feelings about this at all, or positions on it. It's a speculation of, let's see what happens in statewide elections. We know that Judge, what's his name? Roberts tends to kick everything back to the states. He's a states' rights guy, tends to kick it back to the states. He did that on healthcare, with Obamacare, when that was challenged. He's done it with a lot of things. He's a states' rights guy, so that's what he just did, basically. We're not going to decide on it federally. What we're going to do is kick it to the state. You don't like the laws in the state where you live, move. We have 50 states where you can live. So that's kind of how his rulings have been that I've noticed. And so what's going to happen then is we're going to see each state has then you can get an abortion or you can't. So we're going to see how the voters react to that. We have in Oklahoma a Republican governor who has made it illegal to get an abortion. So we're going to have another good gubernatorial race. We'll see if he gets reelected or not. We may end up with a Democrat. It's going to tell us what does Oklahoma people, voters, actually think about this. We don't know. We won't know until Election Day. And it's going to be that way in all 50 states. So that's kind of what I'm interested in looking at, is just kind of seeing how that plays out. I'm not registered to vote, and I don't vote. I can't, because I have someone making false allegations that I have a political vendetta against a podunk nobody in a small town in a state where I don't live. Everybody have one of those? Does everybody have some small town podunk nobody elected official in a state where you don't live that you're all worried about? Yeah. See how ridiculous, stupid fucking. So what's going to happen is I don't care anything about Mr. Perry. It's political whatever. What I care about is the crime. That's what matters. Mr. Perry, I have some really salacious information that were this about politics. It would have been put out a long time ago. The thing is, you've done some things that aren't illegal, but it would make it where you would never be elected. We've not talked about that in all these years. I've had this all that time. I don't have it. Those guys have it. Those cops. We've not talked about it because what it is not crime. We're only talking about your crime. You got a lot of weirdo problems. So, you've done things that are not illegal. They're weirdo, but they're not illegal. All we're concerned about what you're doing is illegal. Do you understand? So fuck off with your false allegations. And you don't speak for me. You don't ever speak for me. The only person speaking for me is me. Understood? Stop slandering me. Stop the definition. We're not a couple. I didn't file a police report against you in Manford. I filed a police report against whoever got in my trunk. Could be stalking related. Your name's not on it. Your name's not on that report anywhere. So, it wasn't filed against you. It was filed against whoever got in my trunk. Police need to decide who that was after an investigation. You obstructed that one too. Just like you did this one. See, I'm getting death threats. You obstructed justice. I'll file a police report here on the 21st. I'm arrested for a false police report just a few days later. And they hadn't gotten any evidence. Bagged it and tagged it and collected it and all that stuff. Logged it. There was no evidence. She's asking for it. You obstructed justice. Twice. So what happens then is people who are logical and reasonable a reasonable person would conclude that increases the chances they did the vandalism because they obstructed the investigation that would have said yes they did it or no they didn't. Reasonable, prudent, individual cops. You take a test? Didn't you have to take a test? See if you can do that? Sherlock that like that? Most people do it anyway. You don't have to be a cop. You need to understand, you get people very frustrated with political corruption. Very frustrated with government corruption. So it's not hard for us to get information. You have leaks and we don't. Everybody wants y'all stopped. They're happy about what we're doing. We don't have leaks. They're not happy about what you're doing. You do have leaks. Can you write that on the whiteboard somewhere so we don't forget and I don't have to repeat myself? So, God, what was I saying all that for? The Roe versus Wade. Okay, so what could happen is that you got... What could happen is it might cause some red states to become blue. So we're going to watch that and just kind of see in state-by-state elections, how does that affect the state legislatures, and then we'll know how the American people actually feel. I'm seeing a lot of emotional people on both sides, so it'll be interesting to see if that's just a few emotional people on both sides up at the Capitol, or do we have that real sentiment that this issue will motivate people to get up off their ass and go vote one way or the other? And will it affect elections in turning red states blue? So that's it. I mean, and that's just a kind of that's not, I'm not coming down on one side or the other. I have said I'm pro-life. I've said that a lot. There have been times when after what I went through with my son, that I've questioned it. I never said, oh, I've switched sides. I've said I've questioned it. I'm questioning. I'm going through some soul searching. Of course, I wasn't married when I got pregnant with Tristan. Everybody told me, you have your whole life ahead of you. You should just get an abortion. I didn't. And then we went through hell with him. So believe me when I say, did I make the right decision? Would it have saved everybody, including him, a whole lot of heartache and pain had I just not had him? I questioned it. I'm still pro-life. I came back to it, and I think that life does that. It gives us things, throws at us. We need to know why we believe what we believe. We need to know why. You can't just go, oh, I believe that because everyone says I should believe that. You need to know why. Well, that caused me to question the why. So I'm questioning the why. And whatever. Anyways, I don't appreciate you putting us through all that. But I'm not going to blame him or even, well, I blame Lynn and Kathy to some extent, but I mostly blame you, Mr. Perry. That's what you've done to all your victims. You take you use the ex of the parents or somebody. That's just what you do. So, this is asking for evidence. And you obstructed justice. You did the same thing in Manford. On my report that was against whoever got in my car. To be determined by police after an investigation. Because nobody saw. Not possible to say. I can't tell you. I didn't see it. So, in closing, we'll look at this. You have these two videos here, Stalking Resource Center, where you have police officers, TPD, who are astute and trained on dealing with stalking. They do things you did not do. They take the report, they take the evidence, and they have said, if you have a car vandalism complaint, you need to let the victim know it could be stalking. They may not know they're being stalked. You make that determination. It's not their job. It's your job. And you don't give the report right over to the offender so that they can then obstruct justice and cause the loss of your evidence, TPD. And by the way, don't wait weeks to get the evidence. Take it right there. They're there. Take it then. This one right here. And you, by the way...
Resubscribe to Les Mills Plus today. The ultimate fitness app.
By the way, they're using technology now. They're hacking. They're putting cameras in women's homes now. Especially rich guys like Mr. Perry. So, I expect you to keep up with me. I've done what you should have done, and I have help from another department from somewhere else who's also doing what you should have done. And we have a dead lucky and almost dead framed Mike, and that frustrates a lot of police all over the country who can look at Mike and go, there's no way he did that. Where was Tulsa police? You don't leave a guy down. You don't do it. You don't leave a guy behind. You don't. I've lost my house. I'm getting now threatened. We're going to starve you back to Texas. Because you solved the murder we did. To cover up all this other shit we're doing. Witness tampering, coercion, crime after crime after... We've done all this crime. What's one more? Now, I've asked you to give back what you took and get out. Or they'll do it for you. There's a thing called arrests and restitution. There's no restitution due if you've already given it back. All I want is what you took from me. I don't want your BILI money. I want my money that's owed to me. My parents took money they shouldn't have taken. You told them when they finally decided maybe we ought to go ahead and give it to her. You had no right to make that phone call and say, don't give it to her. And we heard that you did. The same guys that said Mike was drugged, and you said it in March, and nobody said it in a deposition till May, and it wasn't on the docket till like July. Those same guys, Mr. Perry, the McNamara email cops, the Fabian puzzle cops, they got all that, and it wasn't up to you. Played the same recordings of you guys talking to my parents. I want my money so that I can fulfill contracts and not have to call my ex-husband and get screamed at like he did today, sir, which you didn't have the right to put me through that. What I do is I open the bag up. The evidence bag is open. You shit in it. I'm going to lock it up, seal it, and it goes into court. We're going to build a criminal case against you. That's what we're doing, Mr. Powell. I think you need to stop trying to obstruct and finally just follow the law. Follow the fucking law, Mr. Perry. You're stalking, you're peeping, you're hacking, you're contacting me, and I've asked you not to. You're getting in my wallet, and we've told you to stop. Lucky told you get out of her wallet. So get out of my wallet. Get the fuck out of my life. You're an intruder, not an invited guest. I went through a lot of trouble, me and Dennis both, to get away from you. When you're in jail, your problems, your little dolly, your little peep show, your little ick, slime delusion goes with you. And we don't have to deal with it anymore. You have leaks because nobody wants to deal with it anymore. Nobody wants to deal with it. We're all sick of dealing with it. We're all tired of hearing it. You need a lie. Everybody's tired of hearing you talk. Nobody asked you what you think. Nobody invited you to my life in Oklahoma. You were told to leave me alone. And that is the law, Mr. Perry. You can act like a little bitch-ass girl, pathetic, or be a dignitary and go work and go shake hands and kiss babies and go hang out with your wife and kids and be a normal dude, a dignitary, and leave me alone. Leave me a fucking alone. Leave us all the fuck alone. Go work, go be normal, and leave us alone. Understood? You're not wanted here. Nobody asked you here. Nobody invited you here. You've been told to leave me alone every fucking day for a decade. So leave me alone. You need to control yourself. You need to control yourself. You're pathetic, and it's embarrassing. It's so fucking embarrassing, Mr. Perry. This thing that you put me through today was outrageous. And we said you would. And you did it anyway. I don't know what to... I have no words for that. I never should ever have to call anybody and ask for money. And I expect I won't have to again. I think you need to make sure I don't. And one way you do that is get your fucking hands out of my fucking wallet. My guys know I can make money. They've seen me. They knew me long before you did. So if I don't have any, they start digging into what you're doing to cause that. Do you understand? They already know you are the victims. They already know. You asked, who's the other victims? Tulsa police, watch this fucking video right here. That's how you're supposed to do it. In Copland, that's how you treat victims. That's how you interact with victims of stalking. Professionally. That's how you investigate. Take the evidence. Investigate it. Work. Do your work. Do your job. We're putting a roof over your head and a car in your driveway. Do the fucking job. Or go work for Charles. He pays well, I hear. If that's what you want to do, it's your choice. Everybody's choices. We're all gonna, I didn't bother you. I didn't come up here to pick a fight with you. Didn't know you, don't care. You picked one with me. I don't know half of you. I don't even know you. Don't know you, don't care to know you. And yet you know everything about me. Golly. I will tell you this, I come from 4th generation to cop. That's not how you do cop. You don't leave one behind. So, I'm sorry if you're mad. I didn't come up here to make you mad. I came up here to be left alone and not have a problem. To get away from a conflict, to get away from the strife, get away from the drama queen, get away from drama. I don't like drama. I hate it. I really do. I gotta eat. I gotta have a place to live. I gotta be able to live my life and have my privacy. I have a reasonable expectation of privacy. Laws are there to protect us from the deprivation of that. There was an investigation going before I got here. It's not up to me. It's not up to you. It's not up to anybody. There's other people involved. They're going to do what they do. They're going to get their bad guy. You should have done the same thing. Really. And you didn't, so there's nothing I can do about that. Nothing I can do. You'll have to explain it at some point why you did what you did. That's public service. You make judgment calls, and then sometimes you got to explain it to the public. You serve. Why didn't you do it? Why did you do it? Why did you shoot that guy that was unarmed? Why did you not shoot the guy who was armed? Why did you not, why are you letting these people go around and do all this crap? I will tell you one thing. There's a lot of comments to me and everybody else. If I did that, I'd be in jail. Why aren't they? How much are Tulsa police getting paid? This is not my problem. That's your problem. People aren't stupid. They're just not. Surely you know that. If you're cops, you know that. I didn't pick a fight with you. I don't care anything about you. I came up here to be left alone and not have a fight. If you're doing things to me, or you're letting somebody do things to me, you're picking the fight. My car's getting hit. That's somebody picked a fight. I didn't hit their car. Nobody's hitting their cars. Nobody's causing them financial loss. So, you do what you do. That's all I can say. The way I was taught, cop family takes care of cop family. That's just the way it is. I do know that there's some people that have done some things to help me, and I can't, because we don't want to have another cop murdered. I can't say much about that right now, and you know that. I want you to know that there's a lot of things I know people have done to try to help me, and I appreciate it. I can't get into details on that because I don't want you to die. Does that help? I have to think about that. We have a dead Lucky and an almost dead framed Mike, and I'm not going to let that happen again. So if I know that someone somewhere said or did something to help me, I can't say it right now. And I don't want you to die. It's appreciated, but I have to be very careful. We don't want to put anybody in danger, so I can't tell anybody I know that this XYZ guy said XYZ thing to help me. Even those 2 guys that came out to Sensations, I'll tell you what, it was weird. It was weird the way it happened. They gave me their names, and to this day I don't remember what those names were. You go in working in a strip club, you got guys throwing names at you. You're not gonna remember all that. We probably meet, several hundred people a week. You're not gonna remember names. I'd have to have someone come in and buy, dances for me on a regular basis before I would remember their name, and they have to say it a couple times. There's no way you're gonna remember all that. Second of all, I didn't ask them what police department they were from. There was a lot of times a cop would come in and I didn't ask that question. I didn't care. You know what I cared about? Would you like to buy a lap dance? I didn't care. Don't know, don't care. Once in a while I asked. A lot of times I did not. So those 2 were the first ones that came in and just bold, blunt. He's trying to find a way to arrest you. We're cops. At this point, I'm kind of shocked a little bit. I was kind of taken aback a little bit. So I don't think that didn't matter to me at that moment. What jurisdiction are you from? Didn't matter. So I didn't ask. So I don't even know. It could have been from, there's Shoto out there, there's Pryor, there's Mays, there's Rogers, there's a lot of different police departments that could have been from, it could have been from Tulsa. I don't know. I don't care. I really don't. It doesn't matter. The thing is, they warned me, and I appreciate that. And I don't know if they gave me their real names or not. Didn't give me the jurisdiction, and I didn't press. I was kind of shocked. I was shocked. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. So I was like, wow, what? Yeah, he's just trying to find something. And I'm sorry having to go through that. If it were up to me, he'd be in jail. I'd put him in jail just for making that phone call. But it's not up to me. It goes above me. So, just watch everything you're doing. Wow, okay. Are you shitting me? Are you just trying to make me upset? Are you just trying to make me nervous? Is this just, what the hell? I'm trying to process that in my head going, what in the fuck? Then I tell my guys, did you hear that? Did you hear? Here's what they said. Yeah. We'll check into it. And that's all I'm going to say. I'm going to leave it at that. The rest of it, you can find out in your criminal case. You'll find out. So, those 2 guys, I don't remember their names. Not sure if they even gave me their real names. Didn't ask them what jurisdiction they were with. It was kind of a conversation that I was a little bit. I think that it's not that we didn't know Mr. Perry does stuff like that. It was shocking that somebody actually just came right up to me and told me straight up. Here's the thing. Wow. Okay. Jesus. Maybe it was shocking that he did it to me. And then when he started doing it to me, everything changed, Mr. Perry. Life as you knew it ended. Didn't it? All of a sudden you're seeing things you've not seen before. When he pesters her and takes her money, things don't go well for us. We're seeing things happen we've never seen before. And that's your guy that said that, and you act like you don't know what that means. So I got to wrap this up. This is a long one. Tulsa Police, this is how you treat people who are come to you who are victims of stalking. And you really need a threat management department with guys who are trained for this stalking thing, and it will reduce murder rates, because we know that stalking leads to murder a lot of times. Even if it's not a stalker per se, you got somebody that does murder in the first, they're going to do some stalking to find out the most opportune time to murder their victim. So there's going to be some stalking involved. So if a guy has a situation where, I got my mistress's husband's following me around, and they come to you and say he's following me around, then that goes to your threat management unit, and he hopefully doesn't end up dead. And if there's no one kind of watching the threat, he's under threat clearly. If the mistress's husband's upset enough though he's following somebody around, you got a potential murder. Maybe you prevent the murder. Maybe you don't have. Maybe your murder numbers go down. But for sure, women who are stalked. You got domestic violence deals, and men are stalked too. There's a cop in Texas. You know how great Texas is with stalking. They did nothing, and this man was shot 7 times and almost died. At that point, his stalker was charged with attempted murder and convicted. But she shot the police officer in Texas who doesn't give a fuck about stalking victims. This one was a cop, shot 7 times. Almost died by his stalker. So men can be stalked too. Perry comes up here. I don't go to Lubbock. He came up here and told everybody that I'm a threat. And the person he told that to laughed at him. Do you know anybody who goes where the threat is? Leaves the safety of his home in Lubbock and goes where she is in Oklahoma and has an entourage pretending he's important. He's got a fantasy. He's living out a fantasy is all he's doing. Cynthia spent $5,000 avoiding the threat at her work. Plus, lost all the money she would have made going to work because he's clearly a threat to her at work, as per Pinto, as per Mickey James, as per David Robertson. She's not a threat, he is. But he went up and pretended, went where she is. Do you know anybody that goes where the threat is if they don't have to? She has to go to work. He didn't have to go to Oklahoma. Walks around with an entourage. Pretending. Living out a pretend life. That's why he did that right there. This man is a nobody. Piece of shit, nothing. And he tries to feel like he's a big, important something that he's not. So he goes there, makes up some bullshit story about being under threat, has an entourage where everybody acts like he's some important guy, not realizing he's just some small town podunk nothing. People in Oklahoma don't know that. All he has to do is go, I'm a senator from Texas. Oh, are you? I'm from Vegas, so that doesn't work on me. I'd have been like, yeah, whatever. Anyways, Charles, we're tired of you. Everybody's tired of you. You even people that were kind of liked you at first. When I say we have an ear to the ground in a lot of places, if we know what you're saying, we know what they're saying. Complaints. This guy wore out his welcome a long time ago. So even people that kind of thought it was cool to hang out with you at first don't think that now. He wore out his welcome a long time ago. He needs to leave her alone. It's just time. And, of course, yesterday wasn't soon enough for me. So you don't know what day they're going to bang on your door, and that's it. It's over. We don't have to live like this anymore. No more threat. No more loss. No more tragedy. No more terrorizing. I get my privacy back, and I won't ever be broke again. So right now, I'm going to tell you for the last time. I don't want you to force me to move back to Texas. I don't want to move to Texas. I don't want you to use my family to force me to do something I don't want to do. And like you did to Mike, coax him to Pensacola, coax me to Texas to my death. I'm not suicidal. I'm nothing to you. You're an intruder, not an invited guest. No one cares what you think. Connie Curry, you weren't asked. Stop butting in. Stop bothering me. If you want to give me something, give back what you took. Certainly, my parents need to pay the money. They should have paid in 2007. In fact, I think I was told Lynn said we should have given her that money in 2007. She was happy in Vegas. And they sure could have used it. And then maybe she wouldn't have taken this job in Lubbock. And now it's fucked up a whole family. It's hurt all of us. Because this guy bothers all of us, not just her. Right? Did he say that? Should have just given it to her then when I was supposed to. Everybody said, your mom's a thief. She'll keep it. But my granny said, I want that money to be your money. And my other relative said she wants that money to be your money. She worked very hard all her life to save that money so you could have it when she dies. So that's not your money, Mr. Perry, and you need to give it back to me. And stop making me call and ask for help. And then family berates me, and now we got a witness proved out. You substantiated the witness. Right? Leave everybody alone. Get a life. Get out of mine.